Pay Safeguard, The Score Esports, and NVIDIA.
Virtus.Pro looking a little mind-boggled after conceding the first map of this best-of-3 semi-final here in New York. These two teams only seem to meet in an official capacity at the big ones. ESL One Cologne, MLG Columbus, ESL One New York. It's the big games that bring the big teams. And it's the big events that they do battle. Now here in front of the New York crowd, they have an opportunity to finish it and get those Brazilians locked in for the grand final. They're one map away, and that map is Overpass. Thorin and YNK are joining me. Janko, you look like you had something at the tip of your tongue. What were
you missed it, Alex. You said big so many times that we were at the Big Apple.
Damn. Can we rewind? Can we start that whole segment again? Is that possible? No? Okay, fine. I got attacked by a pen. Everyone keeps telling me I've got weird things on my jacket. I just want to clarify. People have been throwing Sharpies at me.
All right.
Either way, let's get some analysis done. Overpass.
I don't know what he gets up to in that green room.
What? Yeah, I just draw on myself.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
Thank you.
What's interesting about Overpass is it's kind of a similar story to Mirage in as much as both teams are actually famous for this map. They've both had very good records on it. Both get to play it very rarely, though. Like, for example, SK on LAN have only played this as SK against this tournament against Astralis. So basically what happens is both teams have the same problem. They like the map, but people only play them on it if they're also very good on it. So what's weird about that is, it means that yes, absolutely, Virtus.Pro, as is befitting second best team in the world, they have a chance to win on this map. Their problem is, SK is probably the best team in the world on this map. So if that's been the story for VP this year on Overpass, is like they play it very rarely. When they do, if they lose, it's to the Astralis, who back in the day were very, very good. It's to Na'Vi, who are amazing on it. And it's to Luminosity, now SK. So I feel like it's sort of like the best versus the second best on this map for me. So it can be very, very dynamic, very interesting, but SK is certainly liking their chances to close out.
That's a beautiful picture to set, that we have two of the best teams on Overpass about to do battle. Janko, what is it that makes these guys so good at Overpass? What is it that separates these from your tier 2 Overpass teams?
I think for SK, it's what makes them the best team all around, is the fact that they are so adaptable to any situation, that they're really aggressive on the CT side. They're able to switch things up. And obviously on Overpass, a map where you need to take risks of sorts on the CT side. You need to be aggressive early to force the Ts to spend utility. Otherwise, they're just going to take control of the toilet area. Then they can go for fakes, because it's pretty easy to go down connector to the B bomb site, and they can smoke off the whole of the bomb site. They have still Molotovs left for retakes, for after plants, right? So you really want to be aggressive early on, and SK, seeing as how they're probably the best team in the world, when they have that double op setup, that's going to be extremely powerful on a map like Overpass.
And just quickly, while you mentioned double op setup, it's a very intriguing question to ask is, yes, you've said SK have the very best double op setup in the world, and Overpass is a map where it can most definitely be the most effective. Virtus.Pro have quite the opposite. They have got 3 players who occasionally pick it up.
They have the triple op setup.
So how do they make that work in Overpass? We've already highlighted it's a powerful tool.
I mean, for them, it depends on the mood, right? Who's feeling it at the moment, whether it's going to be Neo, Snacks, Pasha. I think they themselves are not sure coming into the game who's going to pick it up, right? But I don't think they're really going to pull off the triple op. It's definitely going to depend who's the most comfortable in playing it with it this map.
Duncan, what are your expectations, dude? Do we see Nuke? I mean, it happened at ESL One Cologne, Nuke cropped up, and we saw what happened to VP. Is this their chance to just give us a little bit of a longer semi?
When I say SK is the best Overpass team, I mean, as a result, I almost certainly have to favor them to win the map. But with that said, I do think the Virtus.Pro is very good at it. Like I say, the stats aren't really unfair in as much as, like, the times that they lose is to the other very good teams. So I feel like Nuke, there's certainly a possibility, but it's going to take a monster performance from the guys from VP, because beating SK on this map, like, it very rarely ever happens. Basically, the only team who's done it in the last sort of 3 or 4 months is G2, and those were kind of inspired wins. Those are shocking out of nowhere. And also, a key detail to know, the guys from Luminosity, now SK, hadn't really played G2 a lot on it either, whereas they've actually, these two teams have clashed a bunch of times, and the information is out there to be studied.
Believing in SK, doesn't look like we're seeing a Nuke, and maybe an explosive performance on Overpass, though. Janko, what are you saying? Just a team name, it seems.
SK.
SK, there we go. It's the Brazilians. They believe it's going to be Na'Vi SK in the finals. It certainly wouldn't be too shabby way here in the Barclays Center. Let's jump straight into action. I don't want to miss a moment.
Guys, so it is time to get into the second map now.
I love Machine.
Machine, the quick wrap-up.
Yeah,
Well, no, yeah. Second map coming up now for Overpass. This is going to be much like Mirage. It's going to be a battle back and forth. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen these two teams perform so well in the past on it, and the analysis is making some good points there too, in that they don't usually play it unless they're going against teams that are also, specifically in SK's case, unless they're also good at the map.
Yeah, I mean, they're just one of the best. This is one of those maps that's frequently banned against them. And even if it's not, I mean, they're just so dominant on it. And it comes down to, in my opinion, someone like Fallen with the AWP. It's such a good map for oppers, especially out towards bathrooms, which it seems kind of counterintuitive because there's not a whole lot of open angles, but so many places to fall back. So many different places that you can, in hectic situations, that you can find a kill as an opper and still survive, and Fallen is a god at that. So I think it plays directly to his strengths as an individual, and that's a big reason why they're very, very strong on it.
And this now is going to yield us the opportunity for Virtus.Pro to be able to pick their starting side. They're going to be jumping onto the CT side, and it does look like, guys, that the match is now getting live. So let's jump into it. Let's take a look and see if SK are going to go 2-0 here, carve a quick path over into the grand finals, or if VP have something to say about it. And they're going to send this over to a third map. Time to jump in game as we get into the pistol round.
Not a whole lot of utility for the Virtus.Pro side. Kit and flashes on Neo. Fallen's got smoke and flashes as well. But again, much like Mirage, I mean, just picking up right where they left off. SK just not doing anything really that risky early on in these rounds. Playing very, look where Fallen is. I mean, this is allowing so much space. Now, the one thing, if they do come back, Bialy's going to get advanced. How far is he going to push up is the question. But if SK does come back to this position, they have so much to clear. I mean, they're only really aware of what happens where Fallen is, and actually Bialy, he's going to hunt this down. And is he going? That's such a tight angle to follow, and Fallen's ready for it. That's crushing if you're Bialy. Now look at the rest of the VP players, all of them getting aggressive from the A-bomb site, walking across bathrooms, walking down this sidewalk. And there's the peak, more fights coming. Pasha coming down the stairs. He's taking a fight, he can win the first one. That's Taz who gets the kill. There's still more down there, and they're gonna get pinched from any moment. Taco and Cold, they're about to pounce. Taz has to push forward. He knows one's coming behind him. He doesn't have the time to just wait around. And somehow Taco just continues to avoid this fight. Sucks Taz deeper into this black hole, and there's Cold, finally gets the kill.
I missed the key here now, as they wasted a lot of it from SK, but it still leaves them with plenty of it to get onto a bomb site and forge the plan out here. Now it's Snacks waiting as the last man standing here on the A site. While in the meantime, you have Neo way down below, and it's actually going to be him that gets tested here as they push into sewers. They check that position, though. We wanted to try and wait, see if he can spot a couple more players to get that intel, but it doesn't pay out. It's forced into the engagement. Fallen's going to shut him down anyway, and now it's all on Snacks in a 1v4. Unfortunately, things are not looking too great for him. More than likely, we're looking at an SK victory on this pistol.
Yeah, huge pistol round of the win on this T side it would be. Snacks has to pull off some kind of a miracle. Doesn't even have the kit that was bought up. And Fur's gonna be the opening challenge and the finish. Snacks goes down. It seemed like the entire plan of Virtus.Pro in that pistol round, they didn't really have anything to follow up that aggression from Bialy. Once he fell, everyone else just kind of pushed up as well in kind. And that's exactly what SK's did towards the end of Mirage on their T side. Now you see him here open it up on the pistol round. So very, very passive, hoping for that kind of aggression so they can punish it.
Now in the second round, of course, VP still having a little bit of an arsenal to work with here. Neo working with the Scout and a couple other guns coming into the picture here now too. The buyout from VP, as we normally expect, of course, giving them a little bit more power to try and strike back against SK, but of course, they're used to this. They know it's going to be coming in their direction, so they'll slow play it here, and already they're catching the first of their targets. Their Snacks goes down. Pasha, though, getting some good damage on the turret, long range over here at Long. Doesn't actually pick up the kill just yet, but there we go. The reapplication of that pressure yields him the frag against Fur, and is going to trade it out now, bringing this into a 4-on-4.
Doesn't give him a whole lot beyond that kill, though. Still very, very passive. Neo and Bialy look like they want to be aggressive towards Monster, and this is where Taco, the big thing about this map for me when it comes to SK as well, on top of Fallen being so good on CT sides, is Taco on the T side. This might be his best performing map. Pasha gonna challenge again. He spots Cold, gets the initial shot, but he's brought down so low. I was saying, they got that one kill onto Fur, but they don't have any map control because of it. They're still so far back and passive that there's Fallen with a lot of room to work with, finds another kill onto Pasha, so down into a 4-on-3.
Yeah, and Taco is just pure dominance, specifically on this T side, often comes from those B hits, although this time around, Bialy is going to be allowed to push out a long-range engagement just outside of the monster tunnel on the CT side of it, and is able to take him down. So won't be seeing that dominating performance from coming in just yet. This round, though, looks like it is being shut out by the guys from SK. As Neo misses that shot on the cross there, not taking these guys out. They get good control. FNX just completely overwhelms Neo. And while Bialy does have an AK in hand here, there's not really many opportunities for him to do much with it unless he posts himself in a good spot to find a couple exit frags here.
Yeah, he's going to be happy with this AK-47. That's actually a really nice find, especially because he has armor as well. No head armor, but with that AK-47, and he can avoid the aim punch into the next round, that can do damage. And if there's any situation where XK coming into a site is executing and they have multiple players lined up, he can get an easy 2 kills. So Bialy going to be very happy. FNX is actually exploring a little bit to see if he can take this gun away. But the bomb is about to explode, so it's got to happen relatively quickly, and it does look like there's a chance they'll meet here. FNX about to turn this corner, but Bialy wisely, why even risk the fight? Just get the AK into the next round and see what you can do with it. Smart play from Bialy there.
He's going to duck away there, keeping that gun in check as beyond him, while his teammates aren't going to be carrying much onto the table into the next round. It's just that extra CZ that goes on a Taz that really they bring, and that's tossed over by Bialy anyway. So no one else is going to invest, just sticking with the default pistols here. It's the full save round from VP as they prepare to get into the gun round on the next one.
So this AK is going to stay with the team. They want to be able to recycle it. It's going to be long where they decide to put this pressure on. He's holding so that Taz and Pasha can get close. And he peeks the narrow angle. Taco wins a fight over towards the B site. They've got Fur cordoned off in this corner, but Cold's here to help him out. And they're going to be forced back, so nothing coming for VP. Fur still sticking around to take this fight, so is Cold. A lot of pressure. They know where all 3 players are from the VP side, but no kills going the way of the Poles, and there it finally is. Fur does fall, but Bialy's the last one left with this AK-47, and Cold just shuts him down. 3 kills. We should mention that Mirage for a lot of the map in regulation was Cold and Fur being extremely silent, the 2 biggest stars on the SK side. VP still not able to close that map out. If either one of those guys shows up here, it's going to be even harder for Virtus.Pro to take this.
We're going to be able to see that test right now as we get into the gun rounds. VP buying up, but even their buy is obviously going to be really minimalist here. With the smokes and flashbangs, really all they bring to the table, the utility, and those 2 HE grenades sitting on Pasha and Bialy. They need to make sure that this is used wisely to try and hold SK back. They're being aggressive, though, pushing in for early sewers control. And Taco, still with an SMG, just rips them to shreds. Thankfully, the repeat from Pasha, but there's also a peek out from FNX. Nicely done from Snacks, though. Saves Pasha's life and picks up the kill. So this will immediately go into a 3-on-3 within the first 15 seconds of the round.
What a play from Taco. 2 kills against Rifles with the UMP. FNX may be a little bit impatient with that 1 kill, or that 1 shot on Pasha, as he survives with 9 HP. And actually, what's interesting about it is, despite the early advantage for SK with those kills, they've kind of collapsed, and they really don't know where to go from here. Virtus.Pro has already gotten back towards the A site. Neo is going to be here. So the map control towards B is gone, and actually Pasha could even cheat back as soon as Neo spots this.
And Neo now, too, still waiting to see if he can catch any of that aggression working its way out from Long mainly is his focus, but jump checking both of them, and now he's spotted it, and of course he's going to get a taste of it too as the Molotovs start to roll in. He's stuck behind the big box, and the Molotov is going to force him out where he's instantly just going to get wrecked by Fur. Nades going in for the CTs, but they're a little bit too premature here. And now for Snacks and Pasha, well, there's nothing to do, especially with Pasha being at 9 HP. They just have to fall back out to the B site and lead into save.
Yeah, it's a good call for the save. If Snacks with high HP was the first one to rotate over towards that A site, you could envision him sticking around and see if he can even things up in a 2-on-2, but Pasha couldn't be aggressive at all. Couldn't mount any kind of an attack on that retake to even establish a position from which they could retake that site. So concession from Virtus.Pro. They're going to bring 2 M4s into the round. A little bit of a hunt coming out from Fur, but it doesn't look like they're going to get too close to finding it. Actually, Fallen's meeting up with them, so chances are they're going to look here to the right. Popular spot for CTs to save their gun, waiting for Fallen to get involved. Here comes the flashbang, and he throws it into the wall, but Pasha's so incredibly low it won't even matter. So just Snacks survives, and SK take a big 4-0 lead.
Something you do to resist that, and SK again slowly creeping their way up to the site, and then all of a sudden just exploding out as the time gets low enough there. That's the standard they play to, and they execute it beautifully there, despite the fact that we do see 2 of their members getting traded out after that aggressive push comes in from Taco.
Well, small investment here from VP as this losing bonus builds up. A couple players have invested into pistol and light armor. That's Taz and Bialy. Pasha and Neo, they invest into armor, but it's almost like you got to think maybe they're looking to go into a double op setup in this next round, trying to just do a light buy to have the money for those weapons when they get the full losing bonus. So I'll be interested to see what they decide to do in the next gun round. Utility as well, Vought for Virtus.Pro, maybe something to try and get a little bit clever. Anything that Snacks can do here, there's some pistols behind it to help clean up some kills. So it's all about how this rifle is going to do, and Fur's about to challenge it. And actually, he wins that fight, so there goes the M4.
Fur is going to pick up that first kill now, too. FNX is trying to push up to support his teammates there, but it's not even really going to be necessary. Taco down below, shutting these players out around the sewers area and leading up to Monster. Picks up a quick kill to shut out one of the additional players from VP, and just going to continue that way, although Bialy has something to say about that. He's able to actually push back in to the sewers area and find the trade onto FNX, bringing this into a 3-on-4. Actually, the only rifle on this team right now is overextending. Pasha moving out. If he doesn't immediately take down Fur, they're going to lose it. And there you go. He's going to get knocked out. Fur finds that kill, and now SK are once again in full control.
In this next round, when VP is going to have weapons, they have to be able to be patient. They have to just have that discipline to not get overly aggressive, not lose a player early on, because you can see SK, I mean, it's been said numerous times by analysts, by commentators, by even other pro players, is how good SK is at playing with an advantage. And if you give them that 5-on-4 round after round, especially on the T side, SK is just going to be so patient and wait for you to kind of have to make a play to get back into the round, and that's what they punish, and then it just gets even deeper into the hole. So Virtus.Pro has got to show some self-discipline in this upcoming round.
But for now, again, it's the same thing that we've been seeing for the past, I mean, the majority of these rounds, to be completely honest here, is one guy hiding back in the corner over here by T-Spawn trying to save. This time it's Bialy, as he's going to duck away. I don't think anybody from SK is going to find themselves in a good position. Keep in mind, their money isn't necessarily the greatest in the world at this point either, so they can't move out and afford to lose 2 or 3 rifles in that exchange. So they will let him escape with that gun, as they're going to buy up in this next round regardless. Really just saves Bialy a little bit of cash in the long run.
Well, this is it. I think if VP can't start getting on the winning streak here, it might slip away by the end of this half just too much, because SK already at 5 rounds on the T side. That's a huge lead for them. Snacks is going to have the AWP. It's the only one on the board for Virtus.Pro. They have good utility. They have some defuse kits. Early damage, and actually look at the aggression from Snacks in the bathroom. And this isn't going to really find anything. Even, I mean, SK, once again, like they've been doing this whole half, such a slow start to these rounds.
Taco, though, definitely not taking things slowly. He's already creeping in towards Monster. They're to try and gain some ground on the speed bomb site. Not really checking towards him just yet, although he overreacts there on Bialy. He's able to creep back down to the pit, and Bialy actually shuts down that hit. That's Taco getting knocked out in the early push here, and SK will actually be down a man because of that.
If that timing changes a half second, Taco might just get a free kill on a Taz, which maybe would have tilted him off the face of the earth, because Bialy was supposed to be watching that, but there was that small window of opportunity. Fortunately, Virtus.Pro catch it in time. So 4-on-5 scenario. FNX is the next one up, watching for any aggression towards the B bomb site. Cold, Fur, and Fallen all working together towards bathrooms. 55 seconds left to clear this out and head towards the site.
Still taking their time with it. They've lost the man. They're not overextending them to look for any opportunities to try and correct that. They've sent FNX back down over here outside of that B site to try and see if they can pick up 1 or 2. That may have started to sort of lurch out themselves here and investigate what exactly is going on, but he spotted nothing at all here. It's just FNX peeking into an open window, as it would seem. So the rest of SK are now going to start to shift back down, and they're going to try to make this into a B hit.
Here come the smokes. Taz and Bialy both in the site. Neo has rotated over as well. He's actually gone back towards A at the wrong time. Fur finds the entrance. Taz, he's forced back by the Molotov. He's got to hold down this pit. This is the critical spot for the defense to mount a retake from, and it's not working. Neo gets here just in time and actually avoids shots as he falls. The bomb is going to get planted. Neo trying to stop it, but just can't. It's a 3-on-3 retake. Pasha coming around the edge of the smoke. Almost has one. Great cover from FNX. Snacks can't find anything. Just looking for the shot, and it's too late. Hasn't been able to help his teammates out. FNX obliges, gives him one for free, but a 1-on-2. Hopefully there are kits dropped in the site, because this bomb timer is ticking lower and lower. Oh, the no-scope! Snacks now into a 1-on-1. There's the kit as well. Fallen. How patiently will you play this? He's gonna peek, and the quick scope doesn't work for Snacks, and he's gotta go after this kill, but the time might be too low. The pistol's out, and Fallen wins it anyways. Dagger in the heart of Virtus.Pro.
So close. It almost an incredible clutch, but it's not going to pay off. And promptly, with them losing 6 rounds straight here, we are going to see the pause calls from VP. This needs to happen right now, and they need to figure out just what the heck is going wrong with the early rounds here on the CT side. Why do they keep losing so many players? And despite the fact they're evenly trading it, why do things continue to go bad for them in the late round situations?
I mean, it's crazy. It's the fact that they get. I mean, there's just not a lot of kills on the VP side in this half, all things considered. They're at 12 total kills, and 4 of them were in this round, so 8 before that. They're just not finding what they need, and even though Snacks, he brings it so very close for them. I mean, SK, this execution from them is just so clinical in how they cover each other in these post-plant situations, how they take the sites, the nade usage, they know exactly where to peek. The Molotovs are used to prevent specific positions to not be danger to them, and it's just so effective at the moment. Virtus.Pro, they might be back on pistols again, but they can't afford any more losses after this.
They're sitting just at the edge of the limit here to really try and force something up, and if they did, it would be mainly FAMASas and whatnot. A couple players are actually in limit to buy, like pick up an op and whatnot there too, and it's actually going to be them going for the buy this time. They're going to try and see what they can do with it, although as we can take a look at things here too, it's most of the guys that has had a little bit of excess cash, rounding it out for the rest. Snacks picking up the op, and Taz going for the SMG buy. Yeah,
it looks like they just did the quick math to make sure that even if they lose this round with the full losing bonus, they'll be able to have all M4s in the next one. But the power, the strength of this kind of a buy is Snacks with the AWP. Wasn't able to get anything done when he had the sole M4. This off, there's an opening kill. Good start. Fur does fall.
Taking him out of the picture very quickly, and now SK are on makeup duty once again. Now this has continued to happen though. Virtus.Pro, they've not been struggling with getting those 1 or 2 early kills due to either aggression or overextension on part of SK. It's been actually keeping that advantage and then continuing it into the actual round victory. That's been the problem for them. FNX is going to toss that smoke, or apologies, that flashbang out there. Won't be able to find anything with it. And we'll see Snacks actually creep down here to look for the shot, and nicely played. Snacks with the op, now claims his 2nd kill of the round.
Yeah, they still haven't been able to clear him out either. Now Taz also has an AK-47. And the timing as Snacks looks away is exactly when Cole decides to peek. Now keep in mind, the last round, SK, they won a 4-on-5, and even on Mirage, they won a multitude of 3-on-5s. Taco has the bomb here. He can't lose it. Does he know Neo is pushed out? No, he obviously does not. Nade out in hand, and Neo finds the timing for it, but can't punish it. Can't find the kill. Fallen waiting. Oh, and there's another opportunity to even things out. SK, they found ways to isolate some of these VP players, but can't capitalize on the kills just yet. Taco's forced back, so Fallen's the one that gets aggressive. Oh, but stunning shot from Neo. He's gonna go for more, but he's brought Taco down to 5. Cold has gotta come huge, because he's the remaining hope for SK in this round.
Taz is still gonna be placed just outside of Matsu there too, and Taco, he knows that he's not gonna be able to find much with this direct push, so tries to roll in there with his pistol in hand. It doesn't play out, and it all falls to Cold here into the 1v4. There's only 5 seconds on the clock, so he won't be going for this. Just gonna fall back, and he'll yield the round to VP. Their first round finally on the board after 6 straight from SK.
And they get a free 2nd op out of this, so that's a pretty good find, all things considered. An immediate tactical pause from the SK side, whether that's to break momentum or to immediately respond on this win, because here's the thing. It might just be round one from Virtus.Pro, but because it was on mostly, there were 3 pistols. I mean, you see like the op was salvaged, the AK was salvaged, I think one of the M4s even salvaged. So they get some free guns out of this, and now that automatically just gives them free money built up in the bank.
Still plenty of money, though, for the SK roster to work with for the next, I would say, 2 rounds or so before they're really dried out here. Fallen is still sitting at around 10K. The big choice to make, though, is that Fallen, and now having to donate a couple guns over, is does he decide to go for the full commitment on the op here, which brings his money down and really only lets them buy it for this round and maybe one more force if they really want to try to push their money, or does he wait out here and just go for the AKs? And he is going to make the decision to go for the full op pickup, Tech 9 and everything behind it. So SK are going all in on this round and trying to immediately upset against VP and break them yet again.
Yeah, Fallen spending $10,000 in this round alone. Fur with 7,500 spent. So a lot of money that depletes everything they had in store. But 6-1, a huge lead already. These double ops for Virtus.Pro. They came out once on the CT side of Mirage to great effect, although they still lost the round. Neo with his AWP going to be over towards the B bomb site. Snacks with his is over at A. Look at the aggression towards short sewers. Taz and Biala are already going to push through, and Neo from Monster is helping to cover this, so they want to take this advantage. And Taco almost gets punished. How does he win that fight? Taco, how have you done this? Could you go for more? Neo is holding him locked in, and wisely he just falls away. Doesn't peek, but Neo could still catch them. It's only Taco here. FNX now as well. There's the cover. FNX, it's his turn. He wins one more, but they know Bialy is still here. FNX has got to be so very careful with this, and he pulls out a nade. That's not what you want to do.
FNX being caught up with that. We almost saw Taco fall to the same fate there. Somehow, as you mentioned, he was able to fall back, pull out his gun, and then pick up an additional kill. No reason for that to be happening. Somehow, though, at the end of the day, this is even out into a 3-on-3, and there's still a minute left on the clock. SK have all the time in the world to play with here to either switch up the sites or just play some mind games against the VP roster, and such a huge amount of utility left to work with here, too. But at the same time, unlike we saw from VP on the last map, now they actually have quite a bit still left over here. 2 Molotovs sitting on either Snacks or Pasha, and Bialy, he's going to play aggressively, moving up. Nobody's checking that fence position. Bialy just steals another kill out of the hands of SK and knocks out Cold.
Yeah, and he's going to go for more as well. That fence can be so difficult to fight through. Furs the next one up. Bialy just playing headshot angles. This is really good from him. Isolating 1v1s. What a monster round from him. And Fallen with the office scope, then he does get a kill, but there's Bialy, a 4-kill on the round. Virtus.Pro defender through so many resources, so much manpower at taking control. And they do exactly that. So a second round in the row for VP. SK now, because of that massive investment they had in the last round, they're stuck. They're back on a pistol. So an opportunity here for Virtus.Pro to close the gap in the score.
And so SK just pick up Tech 9s again. FNX trying to go for a Deagle pickup there, but there's no utility. Could expect something very, very direct here from the SK roster on this round. And Virtus.Pro actually still responding with their own bit of aggression here, holding aggressive angles over here towards short A push. And because the Snacks is actually somewhat surrounded right now, you can see he's been hit. Down at 58 HP here. Thankfully though, Neo and Snacks picking up those 2 kills. All of a sudden though, Fallen wrapping up from the connector. Does grab that kill into one of the Oppers. He's even going to find a second one here too with his pistol against Pasha. So 2 on 3, but thankfully, despite the fact they did find these kills, the situation is very much under control right now for VP. And there you have it. Neo grabs that final kill, and I believe they're close enough here to be able to, actually no, they are going to have to spend that money to rebuy into the next stop.
Yeah, and now, I mean, this will be the question. SK, what is your call to this double op setup that Virtus.Pro has had? It's one of 2 rounds in a row. So now you have to figure out exactly what you want to do. 5 AKs on the board. This is the first time we'll see without Fallen with an AWP in the gun rounds. And what is the change going to be? More bodies being sent over towards B for SK. Fallen, Fur, and Taco all here. Looks like maybe Coldzera and FNX going to come out of this door. It'll be a fast hit towards this B site. That flash is missed time, but no one there from VP to punish it, except for the boost. Clever, it's delayed, and it finds a kill. It yields the opening for VP.
Coldzera just keeps getting dominated, unfortunately, here. Caught in so many situations where he does not expect to be found. That has to be the second or third time where he's just knocked out, and there's nothing he can do to respond to that due to the situation he's caught in. But now, the take comes in. FNX finding that first hit. Neo moving in, trying to swipe away with the knife. There you go, Neo. Moves right in there. Stops the plant from happening as a bonus to that. But Fur's going to respond on top of Toxic, along with FNX grabbing another one here now, too. Neo trying to move back in. Another shot from Toxic takes down Fur. All of a sudden, it's a 2-on-2. You've got FNX stuck back over here behind it, but I believe Neo knows he's there. The smoke in for the CTs. It'll give Neo a little bit more room to freely wrap back out, but also the bomb. Take a look at it. It's wrapped its way all the way up to the A site, and Taco's going to freely plant this.
Yeah, this is a brilliant play from Taco and VP. They're so far away from this. They've got to feel so awkward. Huge round from Neo, but he's just bought them a really, really tough situation. A retake here. FNX has fallen all the way back. Neo's trying to find him. So Taco's going to play out towards long. FNX is pushed up. Oh, Neo's going to get an easy kill from behind. FNX not even aware that's a possibility. Taco wasn't there yet to cover the flank. So this is huge, although Neo might think that he's cleared all of bathrooms out. Taco's going to come from behind again. No smoke to cover this defuse. Taco, the peek into the site, sees no one on the bomb. There it is. Can he win this? They know where he is now. Body blocking. Taco, he's going to swing out, and he loses that fight. A huge round from Neo, and Virtus.Pro have their 4th.
A 4K on the round from Neo, a near ace, but he needed to jump on that bomb and make sure they actually got the defuse. So, makes a smart decision there. And there you go. Here's the start of it, too. He hits that op shot. He knows he hits it, moves in,
I think that was actually an HE grenade that hits him, not the op. So, if that HE doesn't do the damage, that swipe doesn't actually kill him in the plant like go down. That's a completely different round. But either way, such mobility from Neo with that kind of a crazy situation. He's been playing so well for VP recently.
And SK off of that one again, back down onto just these pistols to work with here now. A minimal amount of utility, but at least enough to actually try to go for a bit of an established take here. As we can see, specifically Fallen lining up for smokes. 2 players in Monster ready to push in, but Taz is ready. Despite the Molotov and Toxic, he's picked up one. Unfortunately, the flames make it hard to find those targets through it. So he's only going to grab that one, and FNX will respond. Neo, though, picking up an additional kill for the CT side, but doesn't want to overextend to stay here. Falls back, waits for more of his teammates to get into a better position. However, he's the one that's going to be triggered here, moves back over to the site and buys enough time for Snacks to get out into the open there, shuts down FNX, and now it's just Coldzera left alive.
Oh yeah, Molotov out. There's no way for him to really stop this play. He just tries to come through it and get one more kill, but Snacks has other things in mind. So VP down 0-6. It is now 5-6. It was not going to be this easy for SK, as Virtus.Pro have found the winning formula. And apparently it's Neo.
It's interesting, too, because we didn't really see him being that dominant of a force in the last map, but actually if we go back to yesterday, specifically when they were playing on Train versus SK, he was actually one of the few really good things that we were seeing, specifically from a T-side perspective from the VP roster. So all of a sudden, he's back now here on Overpass, and it's on the CT side now.
Well, Neo again is going to be actually just full-blown aggression from VP on the CT side. 2 pushing up from bathrooms towards Party, 2 pushing up long A. They back off the aggression a little bit, though.
And we do see, too, SK still playing it very, very cautiously on these gun rounds. They have the double op set up to work with here on Fallen and Cold. Where are they going to utilize it, though, is the question to be answered here. And Virtus.Pro, specifically on this round, doing something we haven't seen just yet from the CT side. 3 pushing out on long actually could prove to be a bit fatal for them if they aren't able to wrap it well enough here, as SK is still keeping their options open. Unless they decide to investigate out from that angle, they've actually got quite a clean path onto really either site with the approach they're taking at the moment.
This is SK basically just reverting back to what worked on Mirage, just extreme passive until about a minute in the round, and then they kind of figure out where they want to go from here. Everyone just watching for pushes. No one has spotted out this long aggression. Now, the one dangerous part for VP with this kind of a setup is this is a lot of bodies. This is a lot of manpower dedicated towards long. 3 players here, so the defense is not very mobile if the attack comes elsewhere. And now with 40 seconds left, this is either time to break up that stack or to push forward to gather the information. And still, SK hasn't really moved across the map. And there's an opening kill from Taz. So Taco falls towards B. That's kind of SK's fallback option, really. But they're going to do it anyways, even despite Taco's death. And Pasha finally, the patience, the push comes in eventually. Taz has to defend this A bomb site all on himself. It's 3-on-1 at the moment. Fur does find him, but everyone else has gotten here. Pasha gets 1 more, and slowly but surely, SK is getting whittled down.
First saving the day a little bit here for SK, and as they move themselves back up, actually Neo doing so much damage. Doesn't get any kills though. Thankfully Bialy's here. He's able to pick up 1 and Coldzera doesn't even realize he's in the Molotov. He's gonna burn down. Bialy claims the final kill, and now there's the tie point for VP. They get this up to 6-all.
What a run this has been for VP. 13 kills for Neo, 12 for Bialy. Stunning defense in that time, the patience to keep that stack going. And I mean, this is a big difference from that early portion. They're not losing players early on anymore. They're not giving SK any advantages. It's SK who's been forced to be passive because they don't know what they're going up against at the moment.
Into the next round, though, still actually with enough money for the SK side to pick up another buy, but they're still going up against a double op setup from VP, along with a fully bought out team here. Molotov's the one going to be especially useful on this map to hold back the T pushes, since with SK's current strategy, things seem to be a little bit long-winded here. They can definitely prove useful on an all-of-a-sudden take, but we do see FNX trying to go for a bit of a push here. Immediately denied, though. And not only that, but the second op is finding some action, too. That's Neo taking out Taco as he tries to push in towards Monster.
Deja vu. These are the 2 on Mirage who got the opening kills in that double op setup, and still they lost the 3-on-5. SK, they're trying to move a little bit quicker this round towards this A site. Fur's got great positioning. Can he actually capitalize on it? When will he peak? Smoke is about to block him off, so he is forced to be a little bit more passive. Meanwhile, the rest of SK about halfway to the bomb site. Pasha's gonna have a quick flank no matter what comes in, and Neo stops Fallen. Jumping through the smoke. Oh, Bialy saves the life of Neo. Great work from Virtus.Pro. It's just down to Cold, and he finds nothing.
Such a clean round, too. The exact opposite of what we were seeing from VP. You already mentioned how they weren't losing players in the early round, but even now, when it comes to the takes, they're not losing anyone at all. They keep all 5 alive in that round. I think only 1 player goes below half HP by the end of that one.
This level from Neo is so good in this half, 16-9. This is the level we've seen him at recent tournaments where he's won MVP awards for the whole event. He has been phenomenal for this team as they have kind of reinvigorated themselves at the end of the year to be one of the only consistent challengers of SK. Now all 5 members of the Brazilian side towards this B bomb site. 3 gonna come through short by sandbags. Fallen and 1 other Taco are hanging back behind this smoke, but VP's defense here. Bialy's got to reload. This is bad timing for him. He might get taken down, and he does. There's an entrance from Cold. Neo is the last one left, and it can only get 1. The timing of that hit for SK catches Virtus.Pro off guard, and the site is lost.
Only 2 left alive, 2 to pull off this retake now from the VP side of things, and it's not looking great. Pasha just stuck over here in the CT cubby. He'll toss out a few nades here to try and buy time for Snacks to jump into the pit. That'll work, but again, timing on these flashbangs are working perfectly. Snacks stuck in the pit for a little bit longer. Pasha's already been knocked out, and Snacks is going to fall down here as well. SK, a perfect take, perfect timing on it as well. And with that, again, they just immediately retie this game.
Well, the timing on it as well is, I mean, Bialy spammed most of his bullets through the smoke at Monster, and actually SK hears that, and they say, all right, well, now he's got to reload. Let's just go for it. We've got a 3-second window, and they punish him, and then the site just kind of crumbles behind it. So 7-7. Thankfully, Virtus.Pro built up enough money during that streak, that 7-round streak, to buy for this last one. They've still got the double op set up. They've still got plenty of nades. And who will take the lead in this first half?
Now we see again the same exact scoreline that we were left with on the 15th round of the last half. Neo, though, striking first at the 15th round on this map here now. And also needing to be careful. There's one more player lurking around FNX here. Snacks doesn't even realize it, though. He's also got another player just around the corner here from Fountain to deal with. Trying to push forward at this point, but Snacks, as he wraps back in, he's got it wide open. He should have seen both. There's the first pickup. Tries to go for the second one, although FNX is going to be able to escape inside of the bathroom connector. That doesn't mean he's safe just yet, though. He's being chased upon by players in the connector. He'll just barely get away out towards the line, but there's two players waiting for him here, too. Not only will it be FNX, but Fur. They're both trapped inside of a box. There's no way out. Snacks shuts him down, and it's all on one. Coldzera in a 1v5.
Oh, the clever mobility of Snacks. It's such a beautiful round to witness that. First the 5-7, the distraction, and then busting out the op over towards Rock. That's got to be so frustrating if you're SK. Thinking, how do you actually counter that kind of a play? Taz now waiting at the top of this first landing of the stairs. That's an 8-7 half. Hard to imagine it would turn out this way when it was 0-6 in the favor of SK, but a beautiful comeback for Virtus.Pro.
And they go on a near flawless run towards the end of it. 7 rounds straight, dropping one in the middle there and then picking up the last round of the half. So with that, they lead things once again off this first half. The second half, guys, is coming up in just about a minute here, so stick around. Virtus.Pro, just like at the beginning of our last map there, starting from the back of the pack, managed to battle their way to the front. Now they sit in the lead yet again, 8-7, as they jump onto their T side of their second map. They're still down on the set, however, so they need to make sure they stay in the lead here, because otherwise they'll be sending their opponents, SK, to the grand final to face off against Navi a little bit later on today. They themselves can still steal that position, though, if they can keep their lead, take this second map, and also go over to Nuke and win that one as well. We go into the second half now with the semifinal here at ESL One New York, and it is going to be a good one.
They need more out of everyone on their team. Neo really anchoring that defense down. Bialy and Snacks around him. Pasha and Taz being a little bit quiet, but I mean, what an impressive comeback off the back of that double op setup as well. I mean, we saw it effective on Mirage. They just didn't have enough money to bring it out. Now here, super impactful, and they've got a good advantage. Although still, I mean, the start from SK to go up 6-0, that's the benefit. Even when like the adjustment comes in and Virtus.Pro dominates the rest of the half, you still have all the rounds you could want on a T side. Like, that's still a very, very good T side to get 7 rounds against VP. So a long way to go, I think, now for both of these squads, to be honest.
Once VP, though, did establish that consistency, it was them and only them winning the rounds from that point forward. That double up was so crucial to keep that in check, and thankfully, they were, I mean, really barely challenged by SK from that point forward, except for 1 or 2 rounds where things really got a bit close there. But it does look like, guys, that things have been unpaused. The crowd is continuing to fill in as the day moves forward, so make some noise, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting into the second half now. VP versus SK. VP now on T side with SK on the defense.
Decent utility for the Virtus.Pro side. Snacks and Neo have that, although it looks like there's going to be some aggression. Taco and Fur peeking through Monster. They want to get some kind of information. Got to be careful because Bialy is pushed up. They're aware of that possibility, so they just fall away. And actually, they're being highly aggressive over here at B. Both of them falling back to take a peek off into short sewers from sandbags, see if there's anything there. They see nothing. Virtus.Pro being very patient to move across the map. Pasha just looking for any aggression out towards playground. It looks like Taco and Fur over at B at Toxic Barrels. That's going to be a little bit of a bait and switch setup.
Now VP2 are slowly shifting their way up to gain more and more control, at least over here towards the connector to make sure they're not being pursued. This nice double setup too from SK over on the Toxic Barrels. Fur just keeping himself completely hidden by looking at the ground there. And Taco being the first point of contact should we see VP continue to go through, and they're going to hit this. Now we get to see how effective this setup truly is. Taco's obscured from the push over there in construction, but he's going to be flashed out. Fur gets hit by a flashbang as well here, so this is not working. Taco gets one while blind. Unfortunately though, the immediate trades roll out from Taz and Pasha and take them both down in that position, and it's only Cold in this site as he waits for rotates here. He's being pushed back into the big cubby, and while he has received reinforcements here, now they need to immediately impact. They push in. There's the first pickup from Cold. Taz responding again though, and these final 2 are so low at this point. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to impact. I believe it may be VP's pistol round.
Yeah, this is going to be a clean win for VP. 3 players survive, and Cold, he just can't do anything in here, so there it is. Pasha finishes it off. A great round from him. 3 kills, 2 on Taz. And those are the 2 players who I said were quiet in the first half, but a good start here on the T side. 9-7. This Virtus.Pro is going to try and come back to this one. I believe they lost a second round on Mirage, did they?
Yes.
Yeah, they did. So got to be a little bit careful here against SK. Fallen with the Scout. We know how dangerous that is. Armor and CZs on FNX, Fur, and Cold, and then the Deagle on Taco.
And immediately Fallen's going to take the aggressive position there too, and he tags Neo down to half of his health. Great shots from Fallen, continuing to play it aggressively with the Scout and the Op too, as we saw back on the last map there. And having some early impact there to slow the VP players down. Also spots quite a few of them pushing over into the playground area, so maybe it'll suspect something early on here towards long. The problem is though, is that the rest of his teammates are still in that B bomb site, so he needs to get the read on this soon, as otherwise he's going to be the only one here to try and defend this against a full 5-man push.
Yeah, it's going to come down to his timing of when he spots things out. No one is really being aggressive outside of that boost. Just a little bit. What's the reaction from SK? Still not rotating anyone over. And Fallen's eventually going to say, all right, guys, I need you here. But it might be too late at this point. There they are entering the site, and he falls immediately. SK might just want to concede this. Just keep these pistols, keep this armor for the next round. Don't even try and go for anything. You're already out.
Yeah, FNX had pushed into the halls just to make sure that no one had proceeded forward from VP to punish these players here, hoping that maybe they could pick up a gun or 2, but the other 3, obviously, since they still have 1 more save round coming up after this, are going to be looking to carry what they did invest here into that 3rd round, just their CZs for most and upgraded armor sitting behind it here. Not a whole lot else they can do with that, unfortunately. Just the call didn't come out in time, or they didn't choose to rotate quickly enough, and unfortunately there's nothing they can do to stop that hit once Fallen's knocked out.
Well, all the VP has to do from here after they've already won this round. Taz and Pasha just have to make sure they don't lose those AK-47s. They're nowhere near chasing for any kills whatsoever. There's FNX on a snack. That's just going to be a MAC-10 or an SMG of some kind. So no real big loss there. There's a bit of a rebuy, but it's, again, VP's going to be fine with that.
Yeah, they lose Bialy towards the end of that one, but same thing as last time there. It's only going to be an SMG getting dropped. Not a big deal at all. And they are just able to rebuy that onto that player now too, upgrading him even to an AK this time, as they're going to start to look to the future here and make sure that they have some sort of an economy in the event that they do end up losing that first gun round here. But SK, of course, still actually with the semi-decent amount of gunpowder to work with when you consider that on most games you look at, this is going to be a full save. CZs and armor for quite a few of these players, and a MAC-10 still sitting on Fur too, along with the Deagle from Taco. So maybe the potential for a bit of an upset if VP try to play this a bit too aggressively.
Yeah, Neo checking things out with the Scout. The real danger is going to be Taz as the first one up. He's an underpass, and if he pushes forward, FNX and Fallen are stacked there. It's a huge lean towards the B bomb site for SK, and one that could actually yield them good results because Virtus.Pro has no map control on the other side of the map, so they basically have to go for this B site. They have no information towards A, towards bathrooms, and they're lining up the smokes. This is going to be a quick rotations for SK Gaming up towards sandbags, up towards short. No one from VP going there quite yet, all through Monster. There's the opening kill, the follow-up as well. You would have liked if you're SK to have some kind of a defense mounted or some kind of a delay. And this smoke now towards sandbags pretty much ends the danger. Coldzera boosted up, could get one more. And he is going to come through just as the bomb gets planted. I think he fell off, though, unfortunately. He's done a little bit of damage. They know he's here, though.
And he jumps up onto the sandbags themselves. He's trying to Molotov off actually the exit here to make sure that no one escapes. Fallen managed to get out of there, but Coldzera, he's holding his own for now. One kill against Pasha. They do find a second player outside. Unfortunately, no more kills being netted here. And VP do shut it down, and now they hold the 11-7 lead as we finally get into the gun rounds for the second half.
Yeah, Fallen's going to have that AWP right off the bat. He has no armor with it. That's the one scary issue. No kits as well for the SK side, so retakes are going to have to be much, much quicker. And still, obviously, on the fourth round, with that investment into the pistols and armor, going to be a little bit light on some utility. Fallen is going to be aggressive to start with. Not too aggressive, just out by bathrooms, just an off angle towards stairs. See if he can spot someone jumping for information. Pasha's the only one really in danger of that. And FNX watching long. The rest of VP outside of Pasha is set up towards this B bomb site, so eventually it's going to be a hit here. There's the Molotov, and Fallen looked like he wanted to peek towards it, but it doesn't come to fruition.
Well enough to fall back now, as we do see the rest of SK doing the same on their own respective sites here. Even the long position that we had out there for two from FNX has essentially been given up, and Pasha's been allowed all this room to push his way up to the A site to at the very least make some noise, keep these players in the bomb site, while the real hit lines itself up closer down here towards B. Coldzera in position, along with his teammate further back there from the CT cubby to hold this. However, Taco in that cubby. He's going to have to repeek out to find anything here. Coldzera is trapped in the open, though, for a response to one of his own hits, but immediately Snacks takes him out of the picture. Taco, though, holding back in the CT cubby. He's hit it with one more. It's even, and in fact, it's actually pretty heavily advantaged for SK. They've got Snacks and Neo down at 10 and 13 HP, respectively. They're very, very weak indeed. They try to take some headshot angles, but FNX already knocking out one of them there. Neo now wrapped over here behind the pole, trying to wait and see. More of them are pushing. That's an instant shot from Neo. Looking for a second, but again, he's got to be careful too. He needs the additional support from Pasha. We are going to lose Neo, but Pasha picked up that kill. He's picked up one more. The last one is going to push him from the pick, but Taco wins it. So it's SK that pick up the first gun round here.
Nice retake, all onto the damage dealt by SK early on in that hit. Taco was huge, surviving the whole round. Maybe a little bit of indecision there at the end from Pasha. It seemed like he couldn't figure out if he wanted to take that fight at the end against Taco or just fall back around the corner. But either way, SK gets on the board in the first gun round. Still not out of it just yet. That plant, the extra money it provides Virtus.Pro is going to give him another healthy buy. Meanwhile, SK, with only surviving one member, very, very low. They're going to have to use a shotgun on Fallen, a FAMAS on FNX. Still only one kit. I mean, this is a pretty light buy, all things considered. So Virtus.Pro a chance to reset SK early on.
And so off of this one, VP, look at how quickly they're lining themselves up for a B hit here too. The problem is that SK pushed aggressively up towards connector, so they're also going to be in position to either hold this or retake it immediately. Taz, though, slows the tapping speed, moves in. Nobody checks over here towards this construction angle, though, so Coldzera drops the bomb carrier. Thankfully for VP, it's a quick trade from Bialy.
And with the stairs set up, there's an early rotation, an early flank coming through. Let's flash through the smoke. There goes Snacks, the planner. Taco also finds Taz. And now it's just down to Bialy and Neo. Bialy is extremely low. Neo as well as with him, but there's so much smoke covering this bomb. They know where Bialy is. They have him trapped here. He's blinded. There goes Neo, just one left, and he has no HP. Coming through the smoke, SK is going to take it. So they sustain, and Fur now can upgrade to an AK-47 after the defuse.
Teamwork is the key there. Again, SK making sure that 2v1 doesn't go beyond their grasses, both pushing it at the same time to get an easy closer to that one. And thankfully, too, they tried to play aggressively up towards that connector. That fast rotation they get downstairs immediately allows them to retake the site before VP even really get to their post-plant spots. They're found in the open, and it's a relatively easy job for SK to close out that round.
Yeah, and it's tough. I mean, this is a couple rounds we've seen Virtus.Pro take this B bomb site with the majority of their forces coming through Monster, with no one really clearing out stairs or the underpass, with no one really going through the short up towards sandbags. They just don't have the information that there's a stack, that there's a quick flank coming. They don't have anyone to even limit those rotations by simply killing the players coming from that direction. So SK is doing a very good job. I mean, that's something they're going to see as important in the future, is keeping control of these stairs as CT.
And so for right now, again, SK just spread out across the map here. You know, they should have broken VP by this point, is for the most part, they're just going to be bringing upgraded pistols and little bits of utility to the table. Coldzera, even feeling courageous enough with a teammate, of course, to be able to push himself back up over here towards sewers. Well, they don't find anything initially. There we go. There's the peek out. Coldzera grabbing the first on Taz. They do have trouble coming from the other direction. It's now been called off now. They actually fall back a little bit closer to T-Spawn. Both those players have been taken down. And after they lose them, well, they're just going to go for the full commitment on them. They know there's two of them in the area, maybe hoping they can catch them while they're still retreating farther back into the site. But again, the hesitance here is really killing it. Thankfully, Pasha grabs that first kill against Taco here. Fur is also found in the open too. But Coldzera finds one more kill before he gets knocked out by Pasha. And again, we're even into a 2-on-2.
What is happening? Why are these players taking these fights? They don't have to be out in the open like this. You don't need to be on top of the box over the smokes. So a 2-on-2 now. This is going to be, I mean, this is danger that SK does not need. Pasha and Bialy readjusting their positions out towards Monster. It's going to be FNX and it's going to be Fallen. FNX being very passive on this B bomb site. When does he get the spot? When does he get the information that's coming to call for Fallen to rotate over? I think it's going to be, I think he might have seen something there. But Fallen's still not moving. And there's the plant. FNX knows it's going down, but he's not pushing forward, not getting too aggressive. He's actually out in the open now, and he's gonna be another one lost. SK, these are not mistakes they normally make. It gives Virtus.Pro so much power, not only in this round, but in this half. And Fallen, no scope, Fallen, what is this?
An amazing out of nowhere no scope from Fallen brings down Bialy, and now this gets a lot more intense. Into a 1v1 we're going to go here. He's going to push himself forward here, trying to tap onto the bomb, but Pasha's got a great position to try to play this out. Fallen trying to check every which way he can. Fires off that first shot. Now he moves back in here too. He's completely out of time. The decoy, but Fallen just dreams off the defuse, drops Pasha, and with that, he's going to be able to pull off an incredible clutch, picking up yet another round for SK.
That seemed like it was literally 4 mistakes out of the 4 SK players that are not named Fallen. But what is this no-scope? Oh, it just barely scopes it. It was so fast. Beautiful stuff from Fallen, and he really, really bails his team out of that round.
And even that last kill too, the speed of the reaction with which he jumps off the bomb and finds that kill, that's impressive too. But it's that first kill that's just really incredible from him. He shuts it down, and with that, SK have almost secured the comeback here.
That's just so incredible. And that's hard to swallow if you're VP. I mean, it was just a save round. I mean, again, the big benefit is you look at the money on the SK side, you know, 3,500 on FNX, 4,300 on Taco. Those players after this buy are going to have no money, especially, I mean, Cold and Fur, they're going to have to dip deep in the bank account as well. And things will be a little bit dicey for them after that buy.
Yeah, overall though, again, just the scope of that play that he brings out to the table is incredible, and it's been these heroics from SK that have been bringing them back time after time again. VP now up against the wall, need to try and make sure that they keep these rounds consistent, as otherwise, well, we are going to be seeing SK rounding this comeback and possibly just taking this set 2-0.
So a little bit of a tech pause, that's why there's this small delay. So just waiting for it to go back live. A lot of VP fans in the crowd want to see them keep this lead. It's narrowed very, very much, 11-10. At one point, this was 6-0, so it's been an 11-4 run.
And it's been some one-sided runs, too, for the most part. Like we said, it was 6-0 to start for SK, then it was a 7-round, or apologies, another 6-round run from VP. Then they traded rounds at the end of the first half, and now it's been 3 for 3 on both sides, with VP finding the first 3 and SK hitting 3 defuses in a row, too.
That's what I was just about to bring that up. 3 defuses means, you know, $800 each of those rounds and bonus money for VP, so that's what's allowing to keep a lot of this pressure on the defense. And that's why we're starting to see the money from SK. It's ground so low. $0 on Cold after the buy, 50 on Fur after the buy. Fallen, he has an AWP. He had to drop a gun over, so he's only got 1150. The other two are pretty healthy in terms of their economy, but VP needs to start getting back out of the winning ways.
You talked too, I believe in the last one about how we weren't really seeing some of the big stars step up. Well, they're certainly back now. Coldzera showing up at this point, top fragging for SK at a 16-13 scoreline, bringing that to the table. And we can see the stats being brought up to the table, or on apologies, the screen there.
It's not a table. It is a monitor.
That's a word of mine that I like to use.
Yeah, no, they've definitely this map much better, and it's not just the kills. Look at the ADR of Coldzera and Fur, who were the quieter ones on Mirage for the majority of that game. 82 for Cold, 83 for Fur. Fur, who's playing, I think he has something like 110 ADR over the whole event. So this is going to put a little bit of a dent in it this series, but for them to come alive, it speaks volumes for what this SK team can do when they're hitting their shots. On the other side, it's still Neo, Snacks, Bialy behind him, excuse me, on the Virtus.Pro side, leading the way.
Well, guys, we are going to get unpaused now, though, and we'll get back into the match. Full investment still coming in from both sides. SK, despite the fact that they do manage to pick up these last 3 rounds, as you mentioned, the money is still so low for this CT side here. And as we can see, the buy is very drastic at best. They're sitting themselves on, for the most part, rifles with very little utility in some cases there. Just some SMGs, although Fallen being tested. 2 quick kills from him, though. Neo and Taz both getting dropped early on. Throws in the Molotov to block them off, but Taco's found another kill. Fallen just leaping around now, and even takes another shot through the wall on an opponent. Not going to connect this time, but he's almost single-handedly shut down the hit once more.
Oh, yeah, this is a phenomenal round, and even Pasha just trying to punish him. And he can't even do it. Fur arrives just in the heat of the moment, and Snacks now the only one left. But this is why I said Fallen is so dangerous on this map. When he's around these bathrooms, it's so difficult to get away with killing him and without losing too many players. And this time he takes out 2 resources. Snacks doing good damage. He's found 2 kills, brought it into a 1-on-3. Just pre-firing angles, hoping someone from SK is going to make the mistake, but they're not. 1-on-3 now. Fallen extremely low. He does have the bomb. And if anyone on this was going to be doable, it's going to be Snacks with some of his creative plays. He's got 1 more kill over here to find. Is he going to check the corner? It's been a huge round. Oh! Of all the shots to miss, it's that one. It's going to be another plant for Snacks. It's still going to be so very difficult to win this, but he's got a chance.
He's running away, too, back over here towards the bank. He was actually almost just spotted. In fact, he may have been spotted by SK creeping up. It all comes down to what they may have seen as they got themselves up towards the flower pots there. They've got their eyes plastered on bank, so I think they know exactly what's happening here. Just trying to hold him away from the site now at 9 HP. He's going to jump right onto it. He'll go over the peak. They actually jump off the bomb here, too, and he spots that rifle. There's one more, but he can't find the final one. What an incredible ace that would have been from Snacks. 4 out of 5. And I believe 3 of them are done with about 9 HP.
That is almost incredible. Fallen has got to be kicking himself for that one. Either way, Virtus.Pro lose a 4th in a row, a 4th defuse as well. The silver lining is the money now is completely gone for SK, and with this plant, I mean, now you can see Snack's going to have the AWP, 4 AKs. Fallen, thankfully, they're able to get the ult back in his hands because we've seen the magic that he brings out.
A missed shot from Fallen, though, enables the possibility of that to even happen. Thankfully, though, he got those first 2 kills to stop the more aggressive hit at the beginning of the round, so got a nullified out. Can't necessarily blame him too much for the results of that round there. But now VP all grouped together here on the approach outside of the fountain area and over towards playground. This is going to be a big hit leading itself up to the A-bomb site.
Well, FNX is going to be the first one. Actually, it's Fallen who spots him. He changes. He's no longer in bathrooms. He's out towards long, so he gets a free shot, not able to land it. FNX is going to play close up. So Virtus.Pro early on is taking control. Now, how can they leverage that? That is the question, because they don't have a whole lot of utility. They only have 2 smokes, 1 flashbang, 1 Molotov, and 1 HE. So whatever they do, it's going to have to be a commitment off those 2 players, Pasha and Bialy. And actually, they've split up. Pasha is going to stay out towards long. So perhaps use a smoke out towards long to block off Fallen's vision and see if he can get close up, see if he can be a distraction or a lurk. Meanwhile, coming back towards this B bomb site, Virtus.Pro has got a lot of ground to cover, a lot of places to clear out with only 45 seconds left. And if any of this is spotted, it's going to be a very quick rotation as the clock runs down.
And now that they start to move themselves up, they're getting ready for it here. And Pasha, it's time for him to start to make the noise into this site. Only throwing nades in, though. It doesn't actually proceed up to the site itself, but SK, they're not moving at all. They're still stuck here. They've only got these 2 committed to the B site to watch out to it. The big key difference is that they're playing this together right now. They're able to support each other in case the other one goes down, and well, one's gonna go down pretty quickly. Neo finding that instant shot there, and a second one from the up on Snacks. Coldzera doesn't even spot his opponent. They're gonna try to rotate in, but there's almost nothing they can do about this unless Fallen immediately impacts with this up. It's a 5-on-3, and they don't know a single thing about what's actually in this bomb site.
This is already a save. FNX and Fur getting nowhere near the B site. Pasha gonna try and punish him, and he's doing it. More guns taken away from SK. They can't afford that. Fallen and FNX have to get away. 2 kills onto Virtus.Pro, but what stunning entries from the Polish side. And Bialy, he wants to find this as well. Neo chasing down Fallen, so a pair of 1-on-1s across the map. These guns are attempted to be taken out of the hands of SK. Like we've said, I mean, there's no money on the CT side. If either one of these falls, it's going to be brutal. There's not going to be a rebuy. But it looks like Virtus.Pro is not that committed to chasing them down, so they will go into the next round with 1 op and 1 M4. 12-11, Virtus.Pro finally stopped the run. They stop it at 4 straight for SK. The question becomes, how does SK actually approach this round? They have an op, they have an M4, but the other players, they cannot buy anything except for pistol armor.
And now it has come down to the fact that SK, much like many rounds before, put themselves against the wall here. This is exactly the situation we had. Really just like, I think 4 or 5 rounds ago too, when SK were on the brink of tying this up. They managed to be able to pull it back though, and now they unfortunately brought it back, but now they've also lost that edge, and VP are once again in the driver's seat of this matchup on the T side as well, which is the surprising thing here. Just a few more rounds needed to close this one out, and then send it over to Nuke for the decider.
Yeah, I mean, that would be stunning if Virtus.Pro, I mean, considering how this started, the 6-0 lead for SK squandered in that first half, and now just fighting for survival here. And there's an investment from Fur. CZ and armor. Taco and Well has armor, so he's going to pick up a P250 and smoke. coldzera, what is he going to bring into this round? He's got 1900 still. There's the unpause, and it appears he's going to bring nothing. So keeping coldzera with a little bit of a healthy economy. Maybe they want him to be able to drop an AWP. Maybe they just want him to have a rifle with all the utility at some point. But still, it's all on Fallen, and it's all on FNX. Fallen with the AWP, he's going hunting. He wants to find a kill. He's going to take it towards these sewers, and he's not going to spot anything, just barely out of his vision. Still dangerous as he opens the door, looking for something. You could see Fallen with the gun. He wants to give his team the advantage, but Virtus.Pro offering nothing.
And now it's going to be very quiet across the server here, as neither VP or SK are daring to make any additional moves beyond that too. But VP, they're mounted up, and you can see they're slowly creeping their way into that B-bomb site, getting ready to push their way up towards it. Taco waiting down below here too, but he's only got a measly little pistol to hold that he can't do anything about that. Fallen grabbing the first 2 kills, going for a 3rd one. He's going to pick this up as well, but he's shut down by the Molotov, trying to jump away from it, can't escape. Now Neo moving in there, grabbing not only Fallen, but the second one, but Taco trades it out again. It's just going to be on Snacks here. He picks up one more, trying to hold this out, but he's too low, and we will see FNX finding that final kill, taking out Snacks, and tying the game up once more now for SK.
Again, an incredible play from Fallen. You can see it on Taz's face. Another pause. They are stumped. How do they stop this man? That shot onto Pasha was fantastic, and I mean, the Molotov burning him alive, and he even goes for jumping. I mean, the poison might even go for that and not just concede your life. But I mean, incredible the show, the display that Fallen has put on the captain of SK in these past few rounds with his AWP. He is incredible.
And that again, that pure skill that he brings to the table has put this match right back to where it has been for the entire 2 maps so far. It seemed like it was going to be more of a one-sided affair at the beginning of this map specifically, and it did bounce very back and forth for a bit, but now it's gone right back to where we were on Mirage. These teams jousting, trading rounds to rounds, with no one holding a consistent lead here, and no one really being able to build up an economy either. Now it's going to be VP that'll be broken here, and they are not really going to be able to invest much of all into this round. It's just going to be upgraded pistols for most of them, and no armor or anything else beyond that. Really, if anyone, Snacks would be able to pick it up, but it looks like he's just going to roll with basically nothing here. He's just going to use his Glock.
Yeah, I mean, they just need everything they can. The next round they win. At this point, if Virtus.Pro is once again reset at either of these teams, really, it's almost like you concede the match. That's how close it's been. That's how close it is. And actually, SK almost getting caught off guard. They go up the stairs. First kill for Bialy. Fallen again has to play hero, and he does it. Why? More and more from Fallen, and Bialy now. He's got the AK, but it's still the pistol whip is so effective, and Taz is the last one left. Danger averted for SK, but you could see Virtus.Pro almost able to steal it.
There's nothing for you to do here, Taz. He's going to try to sneak out, but immediately is shut down by Fallen. It's the Brazilians that go ahead now with the lead, 13-12. And VP will have 1 to 2 more buy rounds at most here to try and bring it back again, and try to tie this map up or take it just in their outright favor. The op is back now too, and it's on Snacks. We've seen how effective this can be, and with Neo back on an AK, that's also very dangerous if SK underestimate it.
What if there's like a trick to the op that Fallen knows that nobody else does? This is, I mean, so many no-scopes in this half alone. Oh, there it is. He opens things up. He is so punishing. In Virtus.Pro, it's almost like avoid Fallen at all costs, but when he's playing like this, he's so mobile and so confident, so how do you do it? How do you read where this man is gonna be? 5-on-4, and you can see they put Fur as well in advanced position, pushed up towards long. Fallen's still around, but for the most part, this team has just backed off. Pasha, I don't even think he's gonna be aware of this. This is gonna be an easy kill for Fur. 3 players left for Virtus.Pro in this round, and it's Fallen one more time. Again, switching his position, and Virtus.Pro have no answer for it.
SK have just gotten under the skin of VP now. There's nothing left that they can do. They've just seen completely broken these past 2 rounds. Ever since we've seen Fallen start to dominate, there's been no stop to it. Another flashbang blinds Bialy, prevents him from getting any additional control. But even if he did move in to gain it here, the problem is that, well, Taz is nowhere near a situation where he can do anything about this. So these 2 final players from VP are just going to be shut down. And it's another flawless round from SK. All 5 players stay alive here. They keep the op on Fallen. And again, the VP side will be broken here. They have no choice. They have to light by. They have to wait for what could be the final round and go for one last big investment.
7 of the last 8 rounds SK has won. A massive run for them off the back of Fallen. What more can he do? He's gonna go for it again, and of course he gets it. It's almost automatic. Why not just fall back now? Neo is gonna be the next one up, and it seems like they just want to try and kill Fallen. Please get this op out of his hands. Maybe it's just the golden op. And even tags that shot, going for more, supremely confident, and he gets it. Finally, Neo takes him out. A bomb plant is gonna be huge for Virtus.Pro. Very small chance and actually nearly impossible to win that round, but the plant is what they wanted. But it's 3 map and series points for SK at 15 rounds now.
Trying to scrap for that gun, but it's just not possible. Virtus.Pro, what has happened? They've fallen to pieces here. They've started to look so bad, just as they were redeeming themselves, just as it was going to look like they could maintain that lead and pick up the second map. They've lost their edge, and it's all at the hands of Fallen, who has 3 or 4 incredible rounds with his op here. Almost single-handedly brings SK back from the brink. Here we go, though. Match point. The double op setup on the T side comes in from VP, interestingly enough. Snacks and Pasha picking that up with 3 AKs sitting behind it. But the first big target they're going to have to worry about, especially if they work their way over here towards the A-bomb site, is going to be Fallen.
Well, finally Neo gets a first kill on the board, but FNX coming out misses that kill. Cole's gonna try and follow it up. Oh, and there's Taz pouncing at the moment. Virtus.Pro, they get back into this round, and it's a dominant affair. Although it is still Fallen alive, let's be patient. Misses that first shot. There's the follow-up onto Pasha. How much does he actually want to devote to this? Gotta be careful to his left. What is pushed up? There's no way he suspects this at all, and it's not. Taz finishes the round. Virtus.Pro respond 13-15 now.
And they're back now, guys. SK, here's the other problem for them too, is while they have enough money to buy in for this round and maybe enough to force into the next, that's the same problem. These rounds were close up to these last really like 2 or 3 years, so their money would never really built up either. It's such a close match as we come to the bitter end of it, just like it was on Mirage, and it really is just coming down to the absolute skill of these teams and how they play together. SK, a little bit overconfident in that last round. They pushed in directly right into the Hornet's nest there from VP, and they are able to shut down with some early kills there. Yields them initial control of the B-bomb site, and unfortunately, while Fallen tries his best, he cannot pull off a 1v5.
Well, Fallen now again adjusting his position out towards long. FNX just spotting towards bathrooms, towards short. So that allows Cold, Zera, Taco, and Fur all to play over towards this B site. And I think Virtus.Pro is giving SK a taste of their own medicine. They don't want to move anywhere early on, but they do not want to get punished by Fallen in any way. And because of this kind of patience at the start of the round, the utility from SK is starting to dwindle. 2 smokes left on Cold and on Fallen.
And we do see the rest of VP now pushing themselves out over here towards long, starting to get a bit of control. But even before they get to the site, they're going to have to deal with pressure. You've got FNX positioning himself just around the corner from the flower pot, and a few more back on the site. I believe that is going to be Fallen, waiting for these players here now. So the long push may prove to be fatal here if they don't properly smoke it up. Thankfully they do. Fallen is going to be blocked from this position. Tries to go for a timing shot, but he's not even close. FNX picking up 1, but heavily injured, and now he'll go down. And Fallen, he tries to push through that smoke, and he's just denied by Taz.
Yeah, some elementary mistakes in this half from SK. Despite the fact that they're in the lead, Fallen overextends first here to cover it up, though. 1 kill, but Pasha ends that. Taco on the rotate. He could get here in time. He's got to find a base to launch this retake. There's a missed shot from Pasha. That allows him to get into the site, but Snacks, he has an off of his own, but he pulls out a nade. Not aware of the positioning from Taco. Cold is now here as well. There's no utility on the SK side. They've got the fuse kits, but they have no smoke for the bomb. They've got to get aggressive here, jumping over the upshot. Taco going to go for more. They've spotted them both out. Taco needs to win this fight, and there's Bialy with one. It is traded off. The pistol is out. He's pushing Pasha, who's stuck out in the open. He misses the shot. Taco's still on the hunt, and he's not going to find it. It's Pasha with the win, the P250.
Virtus.Pro still in this match, 14-15. And even better news for the VP fans in the crowd, SK, their buy here is going to be awful. A 5-7 on Taco, a FAMAS for Coldzera, a shotgun for Fur. And again, it's going to be similar stories across the rest of these players. Fallen with a Scout and FNX with a CZ. If SK somehow pull together this round, it'll be an absolute miracle. But Virtus.Pro were in a similar situation previously, just on the last map, and they managed to win it. So we may not be ending up in overtime here at SK. They need to bring something together. They need to be able to clutch this out here, as otherwise they're going to be faced up with a second overtime.
They've had 3 series points here to make it into the finals, and a couple key mistakes. That pass around from Fallen, you could see maybe SK, despite having the lead at 15-12, a little bit antsy with some of the aggression and the timing of it. Got to be very careful at how they approach this round, because with this kind of an arsenal, you can't afford to make these mistakes.
Fallen waiting for the initial aggressive push to come out here. VP actually very spread across the map. Here's the other thing too. They're moving out towards Monster. They're moving out towards Long. They've even got one player in the tunnels leading up to Connector too. So they're all spread out at this point, trying to see if they can catch anyone early on from SK. It's not the case though. For the most part, they're playing with a buddy system too. Fallen, the only one that's really playing on his own, he's proved 10 times over that he can handle himself, especially when pushed up against the odds. Unfortunately, working with the Scout may not prove to be as much. He spots, though, the initial push there from Taz, but not going to connect any shots, just falls back and decides to play on the site instead. However, Neo looks the wrong direction. That's FNX is going to get the first kill for SK, and also Cold, he's going to be tested. They start to wrap back in towards Monster. He has support further back from Taco. He's taking all of the action. Taco is going to get immediately knocked out. However, they've got to check around. Bialy, he's got a nade in his hand. 2 kills from Coldzera, but a fast response from Pasha. Now it's a 2v3, although Pasha himself now down below, and look at this flank that's on its way in over from the Monster tunnel. You've got a layer waiting in position there to wrap back in. And Taz, though, shutting this down with 2 kills. It all comes into Fur. They have no clue he's lurking behind them at this point, and he's got them both very, very low, looking for them to peek around from behind. He hasn't checked his backside just yet, though. Fur just sitting, staring at this bomb, and there's a player just over that pile. He creeps out towards it here. He hasn't checked below him. He hasn't seen it. Fur's wasting so much time, and it's going to be Pasha that pushes back out and ties this up. It's 2 maps in a row. We go to overtime. Virtus.Pro refuses to back down.
Oh my lord, it was not going to be easy, and Taz, he was not losing that round, pushing forward into the staircase. Huge plays for the Virtus.Pro side. I mean, Cold even gets 2 lucky kills, 2 players with nades in their hands, but still. Look at this from Taz, finds Fallen, the Scout tags him, and FNX cannot recover quick enough. Fur had a chance here. He slow plays this one. Yeah. He was so patient, maybe overly patient, not even trying to find Pasha for like 10, 15 seconds.
I mean, you mentioned it more in the context of the beginning of the rounds, but we saw, like you said, Virtus.Pro adopted the strategy of SK to play it passively, and in that post punt, they did exactly that. They sat back, they waited. Fur was expecting for someone to move out of the pit for intel, and it just never happened. So he's sitting there staring at dead space, and eventually, when he decides to lurk over there towards CT main, just leaves himself in the open, and it's an easy shutdown for Pasha.
Oh, that's not good. Miss nade early on at overtime. Doesn't get punished. There's the nade out. Some decent damage onto Cold and FNX.
We are into it now, though. We are going to decide, see if SK will be able to get their early advantage here. Virtus.Pro is still sticking to that passive style, though. It's been working for them. Obviously, they push up towards Monster, but nowhere beyond that. And the 2 players leaning towards the A side of the map at this point are really just stuck in the playground area.
Well, for the moment, no one from Virtus.Pro encountering anyone from SK. Fallen with the AWP, trying to see what he can find. He sees a nade ring out towards Long. He's got to have the idea of something coming that direction. It's actually It's not just anything small, it's a lot of Virtus.Pro players taking control of that, and they haven't been contested quite yet. So when does this defense swap up for the SK side? Fallen and FNX playing very close together. Taz is going to try and work with his teammates. He's got control of bathrooms from long, so he might be able to pinch towards Fallen and FNX. If that's what they decide to do, it could be very, very deadly, because Fallen, it doesn't seem like they have the indication that this is happening. They know it's a possibility. It's very risky.
Peek from Fallen, though. There you go. He's right back into the action here, finding his first shot on the Neo, now expecting the follow-up hit to move in. He's checking all the correct angles here, waiting for the long hit. Coldzera even kills the hit from Bialy. However, Taz, he's going to move in and take down for initially Fallen. With an uncharacteristic missed shot, however, switches over to the pistol and finishes off the job against Taz. There's 2 more in the sight, but he's looking good. Missed the flick, though. There's FNX to save the day. He moves in. We are going to see Snacks taking out Fallen, of course, but Snacks, he's on his lonesome now, stuck in a 1v3. He's got no choice but to put that bomb on the ground, but thankfully, the lurk from Cold coming in from the backside is slow, but a missed shot from Snacks, and the headshot's going to knock him out, send him flying up in the air, and give this first round an OT to SK.
Again, Fallen just taking out the main hit of that attack. 2 kills for him. FNX coming in very, very timely. Cold even salvaging the AWP, passes that over, but they don't want 2 of them. Virtus.Pro had double up set up in that round. Doesn't yield them the victory. They're going to go back onto it for Snacks. Still decent money, especially with that plant on 3 of their players. It's Pasha and Snacks who have bought the AWPs, who are pretty much depleted.
And again, on the opening split too, VP actually a lot more decisive with the direction they've taken here in the early portions of the round too. Literally no one working their way out towards playground. All 4 moving in, and actually that smoke, oh no.
What is that?
That's the 2nd round in a row now where a player's messed up an early nade, and this time it's in much more fatal consequences. Bialy completely whiffs that smoke, and now loses essentially 2/3 of his health points because of that.
Yeah, that's, I don't even know if he missed that. It just seemed to bounce right out of the fire. So unfortunate for Bialy, to say the least, and such bad timing for it. I mean, this was designed, obviously, if you're throwing that smoke onto a Molotov, this is designed to be a faster play than what has actually been produced by that, because of that Molotov. They wanted to extinguish it, and now they're just gonna have a slow push onto this B site. Taco's still here. Cold and Fur as well, playing very passive at B. This is gonna be a retake. The Molotovs are out though. Virtus.Pro hasn't gotten control of the site just yet.
And now Pasha just going to push himself directly up. They need to start the timer here because SK are on the way, and there's a storm brewing on the other side of this site for the retake. Bialy getting aggressive, making sure that no one was stuck around there in pit. He's cleared it back out, so they retake the good control. The problem is, though, is that Taco knows he's back there, and he's one of the lowest on this team right now. Taz sitting just a little bit lower than that, and it's a bit of a stalemate here, though. SK hesitant to try and push back in. They want to try and use this utility. That Molotov has pushed them back. Taco way blind, but he jumps into this Molotov. He doesn't know where he is all of a sudden. He keeps himself alive for now, but in the meantime, Fallen picked up another kill with his ops, and so did Pasha. 4 on 3. Snacks is shut back out. Taco takes down Taz. It all is going to come down to Neo here in a 1v4, but they're all stacked together here. Tries to go for it, but Taco denies, and it's 2 straight for SK. 17-15.
So patient on the retake. I actually think there are 2 situations with the Molotovs that round that really helped SK. One was Bialy's smoke not extinguishing it, and I think Taco didn't burn in that Molotov when it was in the water. It was interesting. I would like to see that on a replay. But either way, 17-15 coming down right to the end. And this is now where you see a little bit of a tough situation with the money left on the VP side. You don't frequently see it completely broken in overtime as a terrorist team, but the double up set up in the first round, the follow-up AWP from Snacks. These 2 players, I mean, Pasha has an AK with no utility, and Snacks has a Tech 9 with utility, so that's the trade-off. And here they come, right at Fallen, and he's forced back by a good Molotov from VP.
And Fallen is just going to place himself further back onto the site. That's another weird Molotov, and the way that ends up exploding. But at least it doesn't lead to any huge consequences for the time being now. As Fallen wraps back, and he's ready for this one. He's ready for the hit to come in from VP here. Snacks is even going to be downgraded to a Tech 9 as well because of the aggressive op-line that they've been going for. I think Fallen spotted the belt of one of these players. Misses the shot, though, when he rounds out. However, the flashbang still trying to hold them back. The first from him. Neo took out his teammate, though, so he's going to turn his back at the wrong time. And Snacks pushing up with the Tech 9. Well, he's going to have the opportunity to get it out back. Fern moves in right through the smoke, though, and grabs a 1 and done. 2 left up and running here for SK. Unfortunately, they're trying to line up flanks, which is not going to work out too well. However, that's if the players from VP aren't necessarily expecting them to already be in the bathroom connector. Coldzera grabs one for free, and we're even again.
Yeah, but Snacks here, he's the X factor in the smoke at the top of the CT spawn stairs. Smoke on the bomb. Is SK really going to try and just stick this? Pasha is creeping back around them to follow flank. This is going to be huge. Snacks delaying him, and Taco's just going to get on it. There's the peek. Coldzera, oh, he turns. Doesn't get the kill, but the defuse is going on. Pasha's got to find him. A huge advantage moving forward.
Taco, so smart in the way that he jumps onto the right side of that defuse. You can see it. Pasha thought he had jumped right on top of it because of how low the time was and how rushed of a situation, but Taco took the second to analyze it, diffuses it while hugging onto the wall there. Completely mind games Pasha out of that one. And because of that, we do end up seeing SK go 3 straight.
That is massive. So again, 3 series points for SK, this time in overtime. Second half, and VP has a big job to do. Remember, they kind of struggled in this first half. Started out down 0-6. They made that massive comeback. But, I mean, the fact that they even started that way, there's a lot of possibilities here for SK. And it's a pretty crazy strategy to bust out on round 1. Triple op setup, Cold, Fallen, FNX. A lot of ways to get picks here. And it looks like Snacks might be the first one to offer him something, but he falls back very quickly.
SK, all that's needed is 1 round, and they've got their ticket to the finals. Snacks, though, out towards long. A quick shot onto Fur. Rings it down. That's one of the rifles, however, so they haven't even gotten a taste of this triple op setup just yet.
Well, it's kind of strange, I feel like. I mean, the other 3 ops, so the idea behind the 3 ops is you're looking for some kind of aggression. There's Fallen with another kill, the equalizer. But the 3 ops are at range looking for aggression while the 2 AKs actually go to long A, which is where you expect the op to be. So a little bit interesting from SK, but at least they're in a 4-on-4 now. The question is with these 3 ops, who's going to be the playmaker to be aggressive onto a bomb site? It's got to be Taco, but he's all alone.
And Fallen again now trying to sneak up and look for another opportunity to pick up an early kill inside of the monster area there, but also trying to make sure he investigates the sewers approach there too. Players from SK have actually taken up some aggressive positions. It's going to be Taco up here too. Catches Snacks completely off guard. Pasha's there though. Catches the trade to take him down. Fallen moves in. Oh! I believe he moves a little bit when he tries to take that shot. That's going to cause him to miss. Coldzera's there though. Picks up another one and we're even again in a 2-on-2. Coldzera's been lit though. Down to 24 HP. He's going to have to be careful with the way he peeks out with this up. He needs the support of his teammate. They've only got 30 seconds left to make the site take and they're still taking their time lining this up.
Yeah, this is the danger of having this many ops now. I mean, who's going to be the one to make the move? FNX still hasn't gotten involved. 20 seconds left. Maybe trying to psych Taz out and make him think they've gone back towards A, but he's not even peeking. He knows there's 1 op. He doesn't want to get picked off. So here it comes. Smoke down. They're going to try and plant inside of it. If Taz can stop this, and he's going to 1 kill. Cold gets off the plant. The no-scope isn't going to work. Going for more, and he finds Taz, but there's no time for the plant. Pasha can just run.
And off the timer there too. It's been a common theme with SK in the way that they play their T side. Oftentimes when they run into trouble in the early round, it does not leave them enough to actually get onto the site and make the take when they meet good resistance within the site. So off of that one, VP will scavenge together at least 1 more round here. They'll keep this going for a bit longer and the battle shall continue, but they need to be flawless in this half, not even to win the game, just to take this into a double overtime.
Well now, a little bit more aggression from VP. Neo went down the stairs and finds nothing, but look at Fallen. He's going to try and entry this time at a new position. I'm not sure Virtus.Pro has actually seen this out of SK yet, so a new wrinkle in the plan of this attack. Oh, it'd be all like the peak. He says no. 5-on-4 for VP now.
SK all of a sudden stunned again, losing one of their main players here by a large degree. Their top fragger now too, so need to look for a way to make up for it. They are still keeping their players in the vicinity of the B bomb site, so they may have not called this out just yet. In fact, the bomb that was initially shifting itself back over towards the T spot is now recommitted. Double down on the monster push. It's a great flash on the Bialy. He's not ready for the hit. They're going to take him down. Now it's even again. However, Taz is in the pit. He's ready for it, and not just him either. Neo's here. Taz, though, is taken down by FNX, and then there's Snacks pushing in with the op. FNX able to kill the flank, but he's the last one alive. He's got 9 HP. He's got no bomb control, and he's got no utility.
Yeah, what do you do in this situation? No advantages, nothing to really use to find one either. It's just got to be a straight aim battle win, and it has to be immediate because of that HP. So now trying to work his way to a new angle. Virtus.Pro clawing themselves back into this overtime. And there's a perfect flashbang, and they're going to peek. They at least see him there. Actually, they don't go for the aggression. Don't try and overextend, but they've got the intel. And clever from FNX. I don't think they're going to be aware. They might have spotted him. Oh, he almost gets that one. It would have been the op otherwise that he went up against, and that would have been a great kill to have because then his HP wouldn't have mattered. But either way, 17-18, Virtus.Pro 1 round away from double overtime. SK still trying to find the grand finals.
And Neo bringing himself back here to try to compete a little bit here with Fallen for the top fragger of this match, but Fallen still holds that honor. as SK. They won the first 3 on their own CT side, but now they're dropping everything on this T side. They started it off with a triple op setup, but now this has led to some big consequences, as you can see. 3 Tech 9s on the board for the final round. In theory, it should be easy pickings for VP, but we've seen many rounds like this go into the way of the team that's forced into it. So we can't call it just yet. They're gonna fast play over here into B, but Bialy's here. 1 and 2, switches over to his pistol where he's gonna get knocked out, but Taz is here. 2 fast kills for him. Fallen trying to hold on, but he's gonna get knocked out. It's double overtime as we're tied again, 18-18.
Somehow again, Virtus.Pro avoids elimination on Overpass. 18-18, gonna go into double OT. And I mean, you got a question. In overtime, I mean, it takes balls to buy 3 AWPs in the opening round of an overtime, and then on top of that, sending those AKs towards the most long-range portion of the map as well, where one gets picked off by the opposing op. Just, that's pretty crazy.
All right, guys, we're gonna go to a short break, and when we're back, the second overtime here between SK and VP continues. Ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing it back to you now. Double overtime about to get started in the second map here at ESL One New York 2016 between Virtus.Pro and SK. They managed to bring it close again. Virtus.Pro, just as it seemed like they were losing grasp on the situation, they saved it. They brought it back. And these fans here, they want a victory, and they need to see which team is going to end up coming out on top of this one. But we still have a lot more play to decide. That is now both these teams are tied again, so we need to see another team pick up at least 4 rounds to remain victorious. And if they go 3-3 once more, well, we go into triple overtime at that point. And then it gets crazy, Moses.
I'm not sure if anyone could handle that one. I mean, what can you really say about this one? Neo starting off, I'm looking at that ADR, 98.2, even though, I mean, he's 29 and 26. He's cooled off in the volume of frags that he's had from the first half, but that damage, so impressive from him. The story for me is really obviously, well, we've got some Pasha fans in the house.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Players had to take a short break during that too, but it seems like they're back on the stage now.
Yeah, it would appear we were signaled. I mean, the story is obviously Fallen. That performance he had at the end of regulation and even some of the overtime, the op that he displayed was unreal.
And actually, what surprised me the most, too, is the fact that the ADR actually favors Neo more than Fallen. And I believe there was about a 10 to 15 difference there. As Fallen, I mean, the thing is that Fallen obviously had a much quieter start, I think, to the game, and he really showed up in the second half there, of regulation, that is. Whereas Neo has just been this huge presence throughout the entire game.
Well, the majority of Neo's work he did in the first half was with the M4, so obviously you can do a little bit more damage to multiple targets in these rounds. That might be a big thing. I think that's one thing that's also surprising is, I mean, how the ops are, both of these teams are relying on the AWPs to a massive amount. We've seen plenty of double op setups. The triple op is just kind of insanity, but you know, the reliance on Virtus.Pro, both sides, they've used the double op setup, so that's very, very interesting to see. And we are going to go live now. Freeze time is ticking away. 18 to 18, double overtime begins right now.
And we'll get into it, of course. The buys come in. No more crazy triple op setups to be seen. We are, however, looks like we have a knife on Coldzera. Bit of a little team tap there against him, so not the best way to start off a round. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite.
Just a handicap. Just a handicap. Pasha's actually going to get aggressive here. Look at him inching up close. Is Bialy going to pop flash him through? Waiting for that. It might be insanity to peek that without any kind of utility usage.
You can see, though, SK are holding back, sticking to the same type of strat that really now both of these teams have decided to employ in their T side as they hold away, although Fallen hopping around. The CTs will know that he's waiting just on the other edge of that one, but they've got plenty of guys watching out for the long push, so Pasha, he doesn't dare to challenge that without having appropriate support or a lineup to trade that. Bialy's still sitting way back behind the tree and rock angle here, but now he sees them pushing up. There you go, Pasha. First one for him. Bit messy on the spray to grab the second one, so he's going to get traded up by Fallen, but if they push long, there's Bialy. Grabs the second one, and for the second time, drops the bomb.
Huge for Bialy. The bomb is dropped as well at that off angle. Fallen with the op. He's got to hit some stunning shots. He's done it before, misses that one. There's the peak. Bialy, great timing off the back of Pasha's play. Taco started moving to the B site, but no one cares. No one's even there. FNX all alone here at long in a 1-on-3, trying to use his smoke and his flashbangs to get the bomb, but he knows he can't do it. 30 seconds left. Taco's got to find something, but I mean, still, Taz, Snacks, and Bialy, they're not going to care if he gets the kill onto Neo because they're just worried about the bomb.
And at the moment, just looking to secure that too. FNX is the last hope to try and push in and trade this back, but he has to have a hero play, and it's not even going to be close. Taco sneaking in, may get that 1 or 2 surprise kills, but actually jumping around there should have just given away his position there. They know exactly where this last player should be at, and there's only 6 seconds on the clock anyway. Taco knows it's foolish to move out, so he's just going to sit back and keep this gun moving into the next round.
Great defense from Virtus.Pro, switching it up. Bialy and Pasha working together so well. Because of Pasha's advanced position, I mean, he wasn't even really waiting for a flashbang. He was just getting so much information, hearing the numbers of players running around, listening to the footsteps, and he just chooses the very, very perfect moment to make that peak happen. So 19-18, VP with a lead. Feels like the first lead they've had in a long time.
And now it's going to be the test of controlling it too. SK had that huge run themselves, and Virtus.Pro are going to want one too. And also look again, there's going to have the possibility for an early confrontation as Pasha pushes himself down at the connector, even has the additional support of, I believe, Snacks if it's needed too. And SK know that this is a possibility. So they're holding back, they're sitting, they're waiting on the timer a little bit before they try to add the pressure in a connector here and take that early control.
2 ops. Neo has one out towards long, so a different look there. Snacks has the other one, and look at Fallen trying to clear this, and it's going to be a dangerous situation. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Fallen, but not this time. And there's the bait and switch. Pasha pouncing again. 5-on-3. Taco's trying to make his move. He's the next one up, and he gets nothing. Cold and Fur left. Nothing to do. No one on the VP side has even been touched, and the crowd loves it.
Coldzera and Fur will try to pull off the impossible here, but with 0 damage done and only 50 seconds on the clock. Not only that too, but VP having this read like a book now. They started to rotate more and more over, and they've got even additional players on standby too to rotate up to the B site if needed here. Fur gets a nice opener. He brings Neo down to 16 HP, but doesn't close out obviously. But now, obviously, with their intentions being revealed, it's going to be very hard to do anything else about this. Fur already being dropped in for Coldzera. He's going to peek out into the open. A nice quick shot onto the dumpster against Bialy. They know exactly where he's playing from here.
Aggression on Neo to even peek around that smoke with 12 HP. Now everyone from Virtus.Pro has arrived, and they've shut down SK in this round. 20-18. Virtus.Pro looking to respond and a pause on the SK side. They want 1 round on this T side. They know how important it is.
we've seen this become a problem too, specifically on the T side for SK, is that Taco, right? He's not only this huge force to get these entries on the B bomb site. I don't feel like that presence has really been there for this map at all from the T side. It really hasn't showed up, and when it has, it's been rather inconsistent. Maybe 1 or 2 rounds where he's really successful with it, but beyond that, it hasn't been just that dominating player. And for the most part, the VP players haven't had a lot to fear with him rushing in through Monster and finding those sneaky kills that he always tends to get in these matchups.
Yeah, I mean, they did a very good job of it. They were very aggressive on him in regulation, which is a long time ago, to be fair, but they did an incredible job of actually trying to be aggressive, trying to take him out of the map. So largely just affecting his game. We haven't seen him have success when he is that. I think maybe 1 or 2 rounds, but normally he's just there to hold off any kind of pushes or aggression, and then he pounces late in the round. But VP, some of the early times they've eliminated him from this map seem to have put him off that game. Either way, the unpause comes in. The tactical timeout is over. 20-18 VP trying to get 0-3 on this CT half. I mean, they had to come back from 0-3 down in the original overtime. If they can do that in double OT, that would be incredible, and SK would be their ones with the backs against the wall. I believe SK has actually had 6 series points in this map.
As they've had plenty of opportunities, and if VP are able to run this straight too, they would be sitting on 6 rounds in overtime for them. That's 6 nearly consecutive gun rounds, with the last rounds of the halves being the main only exception to that one here. As they move in, though, they're going to take quick control. This is SK we're talking about here. Cold Zera moves up, grabs that first kill on Pasha, and he doesn't have the support system that was set up previously where he would have Snacks or Neo set up in there to help him out. It's just him, and he's taken down. So for the first time in quite a while, SK get the early advantage.
Yeah, but they have to build on this, and they're running out of nades. They have 2 smokes to use, 1 flashbang, and because all 5 of them are here, they don't normally have Taco, or they don't have Taco at the B site like they normally do. Taz is already pushed so far up. He's far away from the action, but he can have a very quick flank if he continues forward. He's slowed down for now, letting his teammates gather info, but he's going to need to get on his horse once the hit comes in. Bialy is going to be the first one to test the waters. He's got to be so careful. The timing of this, Taco further looking for it.
Bialy too in that aggressive position. He's got himself lined up. This is going to be a sink or swim spot right here, depending on the way SK decide to push him. In the meantime, he's bought more support, but on the flank, Taz is destroyed by FNX. His primary job to watch out for that, and now, all of a sudden, he's going to move down into connector. The rest of the team's going to follow, but if Bialy can hear this, he's going to know. He knows that this is happening. He can call for the rotate if needed, but it doesn't seem like they've called him. But now they should, though. In they go. Neo is going back down to the site. They know that it's happening. 25 seconds. They're a bit late to the party, so Taco is going to be able to get that bomb onto the ground, but still, the shot's through the panel, and the follow-up nade from Snacks shuts out Taco. There's nothing he can do, and now FNX is down at 23 HP. They'll try to hold. Burr with the first pickup here. A second one from FNX, although Snacks does respond. Then it goes into a 1 versus 1. Snacks pushing himself in. He's got his opponent so low. Leaping across the barriers. He spotted him, but no! FNX denies, and SK will find 1 round in this OT half.
And by virtue of a beautiful call, a beautiful read of the situation, when Taz comes in for the flank, getting that kill all the way from the T-spawn area, the biggest flank possible, that tells SK no one's at the B bomb site. He was the one with all the info. He was the one telling everyone that, you know, they're not coming towards B, they're coming towards A, so SK takes the advantage right down the stairwell. Huge call. And still had to win out in a 3v3, so SK avoid the 0-3. 20-19 now. Virtus.Pro needs 2 rounds. SK needs 3. We're looking for 22 rounds to win in double overtime.
These teams continue to grind it out here as SK now battling from the back this time, but immediately the buys come in, and it's all actually fairly normal. Finally, one team doesn't decide to press the issue here. It's just going to be singular op setups for both teams. And VP using the same setup that we saw SK utilizing here early on, just taking control of the playground. A bit fast actually to move out towards long though, so I correct myself. It's a little bit different here. They're taking all the control on long. Whether they'll use this to take the A side yet, of course, is yet to be seen, as we still have Bialy in position just outside of construction. So there is a chance for them to call this off and shift back down through T-spawn to make this a B hit as well.
Well, a lot of presence for for Virtus.Pro out towards long. Fallen with the ult. He played this position previously, and he's got to be careful. I think there's actually a boost that can spot this out towards long. That's got to be dangerous. But last time he played this position, he actually got caught with no way to fall back. So he's got to be very careful on his mobility when the hit comes in of where he moves to, because that is not where you want to be, out in the open from 2 different angles. And all the while, this one player, Snacks with the op, is just covering everyone else on his team, creeping up closer and closer. Oh, that's the team damage. A little bit of nerves coming out on Pasha, but they're made their way into the site. Fallen finds him. FNX now in the site falls. VP is here, and there's Taz. 2 big kills, can't get a third, but Snacks, he arrives as well, and Neo manning down the fort. Cold and Taco are both here.
We still have Cold hiding in the area. Now Taco's taking the aggression, move forward, takes out Neo and Snacks. But we have Bialy lurking in on the flank. He's been in this situation so many times in this set, but he's failed because he's played it too passively time and time again, and now he holds back once more. He's got to be careful sneaking his way back up. There's the first one, and he initially just goes right for the strike. Takes down Coldzera. It's all on Taco, and here we go again. This is the second time he's been up against this kind of a push, but he's going to hold it this time. Taco jumps off the bomb. Bialy pushes it, and VP are on match point.
Bialy not gonna let that happen again. Taco even taps it and gets the dink, but a huge win from Bialy in a 1-on-2. That slow lurk didn't look like they were even gonna need it, but this is great. Gets that first kill, doesn't even wait for anything, just takes it. Confidence to win the 1-on-1 afterwards. 21-19, Virtus.Pro with their own map point now.
Such an epic game between these two teams, and it could go to a third here too if VP are able to claim this one. Aggression from SK this time, though. They're going to be waiting for it. Fallen misses the shot. Fur's here, though. Fallen adds extra support, but Taz with the trade. Fur using the rock to get the reload, and he's going to grab another one. Taz picking up this kill. It goes into a 4-on-2, and both the remaining members of VP are stuck, although FNX, he doesn't even see that push from Bialy. He's going to catch another opportunity to pick up a trade.
This is incredible. The battle's traded out towards long. 2-on-3 now. Neo and Bialy, what can you do in this situation? Taco and Cold sticking together, that's smart, but Fur, he's very, very close up. This is gonna be some early information, and he's gonna win that fight. That's the bomb down as well. And Bialy, another clutch situation. Fur has 3 kills in the round. He's been phenomenal here. And whether Bialy finds this kill onto Fur or not, I mean, that follow-up Molotov is just brilliant. Delays Bialy even longer, opens him up to this flank, and he looks away at the wrong moment, and there's the kill from Taco. It's a map 1 for Virtus.Pro, or it's triple overtime here in Brooklyn.
These teams have been battling now for what I believe has been almost about 2.5 hours, continuing to bring top-level performance from both ends of it, and neither one wants to give up their opportunity to either just close out here. And Virtus.Pro, they still want to fight for the finals still. They still want their chance to go on to Nuke, continue this fight, and possibly take it to Navi in the grand finals. They'll open up, they'll push themselves over to the B site pretty quickly here, and Taz wastes no time getting himself behind the sandbags. I don't even think he was seen either. He's got himself behind this position, and no one from SK is the wiser.
Yeah, the question is, when does he pounce? Can he actually make something from this spot? All of VP is here on this side of the map. No one towards A. They've been trying to stay away from Fallen, and it's been working here. Fur over at Toxic. Taco gonna push up. He's out in the open. The entry, Neo's on entry duty, and there's a flashbang deep down. Fur finds the kill on Pasha. So many bodies here for SK. 3 of them in total. The trade now, but it's all SK in this round. They want the third overtime. Bialy, he's gonna get nothing. 21-21. No one giving it here.
Triple overtime. We go against it again. And you can see, too, Virtus.Pro with such a strong start to that overtime. They thought they had it. They thought they had that confirmed in the bag, and the disappointment now that they have to do this all over again.
Yeah, why? I mean, why not? We knew this was going to go back and forth. Both of these maps from these teams are so good on each of them. And VP, what a fight they're putting in, but somehow triple overtime. So, I mean, at this point, the tough part for these teams is, yes, they are phenomenal on the T sides of these maps, but they have exhausted most of the things they have prepared, most of the things they have in their playbook. So this is going to become a situation where it's all going to come down to some individual plays, the instincts of these players.
Guys, we're going to be going over to a short break really quickly, and then the triple overtime will begin in just a second. Stick around for more awesome action right here at ESL One. battle for the ages and a battle for supremacy here, along with a battle for the second spot in the grand finals here at ESL One New York. Virtus.Pro versus SK Gaming. Neither team uses to back it down here as we enter the third overtime of the second map here on Overpass. SK, after dropping down there in second overtime, do round it back. And now we're tied again at 21 rounds.
Yeah, this is actually incredible. The amount of clutches that are coming out in some of these, and we have to remember both of these teams have, survived really big deficits in these overtimes as well. VP having to respond to 0-3, 2-1 from VP that SK evens up. So this is where it starts to get a little bit more. I think we're going to see less and less of the slow pace. I think we're going to start to see something a little bit more aggressive. Try and gain these early advantages and see what you can get from there.
But we are going to get into it now, guys. As the match is live, we can jump into the game. Virtus.Pro, they are now starting off on the T side. And SK over here on the CT side. Cold Zera actually making a very aggressive move, and he's found in the open. There's flashbangs on both sides, but Taz, he's going to get the opening kill on Cold. Snax even moves in there to reclaim the position. And they're going to be good to push into this B-bomb site. Everybody's prepped for it, so they might as well go. After they picked up this kill on Cold, they're going to push right in, but they run into Taco. Nobody's checking. He's got a great spot in the smoke. He's going to find 2 kills. Shut out by Neo when he goes for the third. And that evens out the player count now, 3 for 3.
Wall of smokes lined up. They're going to protect them as they fall out for post-plant positioning. FNX trying to make entrance. He's in water. There's a pop flash from Neo. He hasn't spotted it. Finally on Fur. He does adjust. FNX now trying to work his way in. The flashbang delays him, but he knows exactly where Neo is. He's going to creep up. Neo might still think Pasha's covering this, but he's not. That's going to be a free kill. 2-on-2 situation, or excuse me, a 1-on-2. FNX looking for more, but he's got 2 players and he just can't find them. Bialy's going to clean it out.
It's Virtus.Pro. They get the edge again now in the third overtime here. First round goes their way, and they get the advantage here too. If they can go 2-0, then the third round will be easy pickings too. As the CT side, they often struggle with that. The economy with the 10K start is going to run out for them, especially with the second op investment coming in now on this round.
VP, the early lead in this triple overtime. 5 AKs. This is the good switch up as well. We have to remember, I talked about their alliance. Both these teams wanted on the AWPs. Virtus.Pro is buying double ops on some of those T rounds. Now they're back onto all AKs. This allows them to be more mobile, more aggressive, and faster paced. And at least initially it catches SK off guard. This time they will be blocked off by smoke over towards B. But they're going to start executing nonetheless. SK is going to see this coming. Can they control it this time?
And they start to move themselves into the site too. It's a direct push from VP. No more playing around with these fakes. It's just going to be all in on the B bomb site here. SK have 3 in the area, ready to rotate in, but it's Snax that edges out the first kill here. Fur looking to hold on to himself. A nice headshot, but is responded to. Taz with 2 of his own. Fallen and FNX. Now the last 2 alive, but FNX is mauling himself out of the CT main area. He's going to push forward. Fallen finds a kill, but FNX fails to pick up his. There's nothing for Fallen to do, and if he doesn't save this up, they won't have one in that third round. It's time to save, and the 23rd round goes the way of VP.
Oh no, Fallen, you made the right call to save this gun. Don't lose it here. 1 kill, get away quickly because there's a second player coming, and Bialy is not going to turn the corner aggressively, but VP would desperately love to have this AWP. We've seen Fallen single-handedly win rounds with it. Take it out of his hands is the name of the game. Fallen again with 1 on a Pasha, and Bialy, he can press the issue. They've got plenty of money, but he's not going to, so Fallen gets away with it.
And so off of that, VP now possibly going 3-0, and like I talked about before here, the investment from SK is going to be minimalist at best. They keep that up, of course, and they get 1 additional rifle, but it's a shotgun on the Fur, a CZ for Cold, and a 5.7 for Taco for this last round of the third overtime's first half. Virtus.Pro even getting the money now to go for their own double op setup. Snax and Neo back to picking that up too, along with full utility and everything else that they could look to do. Fallen though, possibly getting aggressive with his op. We can see lurking out there. They've been very straightforward in these rounds, VP have, on creeping over here towards the sewers entrance, the construction entrance to the B-bomb site, so hoping he can maybe catch a player out, but this time it's all of a sudden slowed out from VP. It won't be obliging Fallen this early on. Yeah,
and I mean, you could see Fallen saying, all right, if you guys want to hit the B-bomb site, that's where I'll head. I'm sick of being avoided. It's time to take control. And he's got an angle that VP can be caught off guard by, and actually now he's getting aggressive. This is a little bit scary. When's the timing? Taz peeks. Oh, Fallen almost flicks over in time. It doesn't work though. Taco looks like he wants to follow up. Meanwhile, a 2-man advantage now. Taco gonna push forward. He gets the op at least. but he's got so much pressure, so many bullets flying at him, and he has to concede some of this aggression.
Virtus.Pro, they don't want to push into this site anymore. They've fallen back, and Pasha, well, the fallback at least is going to work out for him as he's going to instantly just deck Coldzera to the ground. 2 left up and running for SK. It's Taco and FNX here trying to piece together something in this third round, trying to win it out here, and as Taco sneaks in though, the missed shot from him, he's being surrounded. He's got support from the other end. He's actually going to get a kill with Taco. He switches over to the pistol. I think Taz wanted to switch out and go for a bit of a dirty night there, but it doesn't play out. Now all of a sudden it's 3 on 2. And SK may have a chance yet to close this out.
Yeah, a small chance because the positioning of Pasha is brilliant. FNX as well. Neo's going to find him, and Pasha's going to find Taco. Virtus.Pro deliver the 3-0 to SK. They return the favor. 3 more map points for Virtus.Pro.
One more round indeed, as the crowd is chanting here.
Taco's got to be like, I've seen Fallen hit no scopes across the map, and I can't even use it at close range. Like, what is happening here? Taz cracking a joke as well that he needs more bullets because he's a little too old.
But guys, we're getting into it now. The second half of the third overtime, and another double op setup. Once again, rolling in from Virtus.Pro. Snacks and Neo going for it this time. And SK can't drop a single round here. They're gonna take it to quad OT if they want this map.
Yes, well, they fought so long and hard for it, no reason to give up. Double op setup for Snacks and Neo. Snacks has his towards the A site. He'll be able to help Pasha as well, but FNX close up towards bathrooms. They're gonna try and start taking this over. Slow pace from SK, a big difference from what we just saw out of Virtus.Pro in the triple overtime, where Virtus.Pro just said enough. Flip on the aggression switch, and they took all 3 rounds. SK, a little bit more calculated with their approach. The bomb is on Fallen, and it's still over towards the B bomb site, so seems like the end goal. Oh, there it is. Fallen, Bialy peeks right into it. A good pick.
And now Taz also still waiting up on the bomb site there too. He's really going to be the only one left to defend it. I believe he actually got support from Neo. Yeah, Neo's jumped into the site there from heaven, so he's going to be able to support this should it come towards B, which is the current line of sight. However, FNX still waiting on it long here. Catches one of the VP players getting over-aggressive. It's a 5-on-3, and all SK are doing is just holding back, punishing players, peeking out a little bit here, but not really taking any risks. Taz, a bit of style as he falls back, and actually catches one of these players. Neo got one too, so there you go. All of a sudden, it's turned around. SK are disadvantaged. Fallen tries to move in. He's shut out by Neo, but it looks like, guys, we may be going to a third map here. FNX tries to push, but Taz is going to close it out, and in triple overtime, Virtus.Pro 25-21. They'll take control of Overpass and send this over to Nuke.
Not bad from both of these teams. A ridiculous match, triple overtime. It's felt like a grand final in these first 2 maps. It's a pleasure to have this on the stage at ESL One New York.
And it certainly is going to have the length of a grand final. These teams have been going for so long, and well, they're gonna have to take it for even longer now too. Realizing there at the end, Virtus.Pro change up their T side, it works out great, pushing in. We even had to see Fallen move away from his usual short A pushes too, and even that didn't make a difference. They shut down their T side of this overtime half, and then switching over to CT side, they managed to close out immediately too, finally just completely shutting out SK on the third overtime.
Yeah, I mean, that was weird. I mean, it was the switch up of aggression as well. It just seemed like Virtus.Pro got to a point where they were done with overtimes. They picked up the pace, and then in the third round of that Terra side overtime for them, they slowed it back down. And even in this last round that finally win him, SK had all the advantages by just waiting around. They got picks, and I mean, it's Taz. He joked that he was too old just the round previous, but he comes up huge there on short over by Sandbags. Brilliant performance from everyone on both of these teams.
And it's actually, it's Bialy that steps up there towards the end of it too. We were just talking about how Neo was bringing a big performance to the table, but at the end of the game, it's Bialy that leads the frag count there, 37 and 30. In the overtimes, he was the big hero.
Oh, on top of all the clutches he won. He won a couple clutches there towards the end of those overtimes that were massive for VP. I mean, the interesting thing is that they don't even get to overtime if it's not for Neo. So, I mean, he carries them to that point, and then everyone else kind of steps up as well.
It was certainly a big match. Now the only questions remaining here is what does that yield us to have for Nuke? Like, what kind of a game are we going to see there? Because there's so many open questions with these two teams going into that map. The last time they played it, I believe, was at the Cologne Major, and Virtus.Pro was so unready for it last time.
Yeah, it was a nightmare scenario for VP. It was their pick, and they actually just got wiped out of competition on it. SK just came in entirely prepared, and that was what everyone has looked back. The analyst desk talked about it before the series even began. They looked back on that match, and they said that Nuke pick is what really crippled us.
And we had the issues too with SK. I mean, we talked about it at the beginning of this set too, where in some of their online matches they were looking a bit shaky on this. Incredibly CT-sided. Yeah. Their T side looked very unorganized on that map and looked extremely rough, which is, as we talked about before, a very rare thing for both of these teams, really, to see a T side be weak. Normally they dominate on it. So if that becomes a thing, that could be the key issue that allows VP to have it. Well, guys, it looks like we do have, however, the analysts ready for us back up at the desk. So Machine, take it away. Let's break down this incredible game.
Incredible is the key word. Thank you very much, Blue. Yes, another fantastic series, or rather map in the series that we kind of predicted on the desk. We knew that these two teams were going to be butting heads in a very big way here in the Big Apple, and it has been nothing short of exhilarating. OT being the operative two letters, seeing those guys just battle it out, duke it out, and it did look like for a while, Duncan, we weren't even going to be seeing Nuke. This has been an exhausting affair. Yeah,
I mean, obviously there was times when SK was in position, like they were one round away, basically. What's great is this series as a whole has absolutely delivered so far. Both maps have been fantastic. Both teams already probably feel like they can be 2-0. This is why when you go into that third one, as I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit, if someone like VP is to lose that, that's when it'll really haunt them why they did the Nuke pick, because this could have been a 2-0 even, maybe it wouldn't even have mattered, but I thought that was a really high level match. It wasn't like, one of the problems with overtime matches is sometimes why they're not as epic as they might seem on the scoreboard is teams get really tired and you can see it's just mistake after mistake after mistake. This was more like people making plays. That was the thing. People winning 2v3s, people doing force buys. It was very high level stuff.
Resilience being a key word as well, Yanko. It did always feel like, at least from what I was reading off from your faces and your discussion in the green room, it always felt like SK versus VP, and VP with a resilient side, just kind of trying to battle for something.
Definitely so. I think they even had 10 match points to defend in that game, and managing to bring it back from that is obviously a very high ask for any team. I hate games like this because there's no point talking about regulation at all, even though there were chances for both teams to close it out earlier. But when it comes to overtime, we've seen it time and time again. Teams have to improvise. Something that would never work in regulation, it will work in overtime, because you catch your opponents off guard, like faster paced play. I mean, that was ridiculous.
That was a mistake.
They get three AWPs on the T side, and then the player going A long, the longest ranged area of the map, has an AK and dies to a CT AWP. So
I mean, let's talk about that though, Yanko, because remember, since SK are the ones who lost this map, that triple ops round, they were winning at the time. So it's like, haha, we've got 3 ops. That ended up costing them, because later on they had quite a poor force buy. It was 2 Tech-9s.
I think the thought process behind that was, they're gonna push for sure as CT. Let's just get ops and like hold positions, but that's not what they did. So I'm not really sure what. I don't think it was, let's just add insult to injury. I don't think SK, out of all teams against VP, would gamble with something like that, but definitely took a hit on the economy side. 3 AWPs, they had to play all 3 rounds and didn't manage to take the one they needed.
And while we are on the topic of AWP, Yanko, I remember at one point you were just sitting there pressing the arrow key, counting how many AWP frags you were seeing Fallen pick up in that regulation. It was insane.
I think in the second half, I was counting the second half, I think he got 12 or 13 in the second half, and considering that they also lost pistols, so didn't have the op in all of the rounds that were played, all the 15 rounds. That's an amazing score, especially this round. This was the round that brought them back to life, because you could see that they're not even on a buy. They have pistols. Kevlar and Fallen manages to get 3 kills in that round.
I mean, the ridiculous thing is, for context, last year, it wasn't even that far beyond, like just over a year ago. It was in the summer of last year, was when Fallen actually decided to become an AWPer again. Before that, they had that guy, I think it was ZQK, who was called in the team, and he was the designated AWPer. And as a result, Fallen actually wasn't even considered one of the better players in the team. He was just like a brain that played the game. And so when he took it back up, obviously back in 1.6, he was an amazing AWPer. He very rapidly developed into what we see now as probably the best AWPer in the world, and that map specifically seems to, for some reason, fit his style so well.
Do it, Markelov. Do it. You can do it too. If Fallen can, you can.
Look at that stat. 26 of his 40 frags in one map were with the AWP, and in stark contrast, you can see that from the 34 of Snacks, we did see 19 And it was 13 to 11.
Still solid from Snacks. I mean,
I'm actually surprised by that.
When you consider the thing of Snacks is obviously he was never the primary AWP in Virtus.Pro until earlier this year. It was always Pasha, and then they had Neo, and actually Snacks really took over. I think it was around the summer, and he actually very quickly become good. I mean, we already knew he was a very versatile player, but to find out that he can also AWP as well, it's just like, is there anything this guy can't do?
Definitely so, and don't be fooled by the number of sniper purchases here. It's obviously because of the many OTs that we had and a lot of money for both sides.
Isn't it intriguing that if you combine his sniper and pistol kills, Fallen got 2 kills outside of his AWP and pistol?
That tells you that a lot of the times he would like maybe miss a close range shot and then switch to the pistol and get the
but no rifles
with the pistol. Well, it's a case of similar to what Liquid does for JDM. Every time we have enough money, let's put an op in his hands, because as we saw, he can do incredible things with it.
And he did. A 40 bomb dropped, admittedly the overtime certainly do help when you're getting towards that number. Flamey didn't even need that earlier. Of course, Na'Vi are waiting in the wings. They're waiting to find out who their opponent will be. I've seen tweets, in fact, from members of Na'Vi saying, please Fallen, not like this in the grand finals. They have to get there first, because VP, the ever-resilient Polish side, have locked themselves into a third map. It's a nuke, though, and we have a lot to talk about when we do get back from our break. Nuke being the map. Again, we saw it in ESL One Cologne. Here in ESL One New York, it happens again. Semi-finals will continue after a short break, so do stay tuned. When we come back, we'll be talking about our third and final map of our final semi-final.